Oh, did it tell y'all was getting live streamed?
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
Just got a notification too.
Oh, you did?
Live stream.
Yep.
So we up live, apparently. we all the way live.
Oh, one more thing, Kev. Congratulations on the foundation, brother.
Oh, thank you, man. You know, once we all get it going, that's the real deal. But yeah, man, this is the first step. It's created. So we need to make it as big as BLM, the bullshit lives matter. And we can really do something. But yeah, man, thank you, man. Appreciate that. We're gonna be calling on all people, especially people in the police stop law class, since y'all the ones who are on the path first. So don't get it twisted. Don't y'all a part of this shit.
Already appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Let's see. Police stop law class. What we got today, man? Oh, so we got a few things. There's a video that this dude. So you know we usually watch videos from Audit the Audit, but dude put out a video that if he was in my presence, I would have to slap the tar out of him because he just led people down the wrong path. We're gonna watch it in a minute. We're gonna watch this one first though. This is what knowing your rights can do. We're gonna watch a lot of those videos today. What knowing your rights will actually get you, with of knowing your rights properly, I should say, because not watching one or two YouTube videos with auditors, like Audit the Audit channel, and then thinking that you know some shit, but really knowing your shit. Sure. Ooh, what the hell are you doing?
For the past 3 months, I have been
So this is not the
vigorously
video
testing.
where's the video that I just put on? I'll put on another video.
Did you try to solicit a trespass from Martin's just now? It's like you're trying to make up a reason to get me off.
It's not showing up.
You can't ask a grocery store person.
Oh, you can't see?
It's not showing.
Yeah, you haven't shared the screen yet.
Well, y'all don't need to see. You just need to listen. Listen and observe.
Do you want me over on
Shaolin
YouTube?
class? You need to listen with your ears. You got to close your eyes. What if you got into a fight and you weren't able to see stuff? You got to hear and recognize.
Bro, KB.
Yes, my brother.
You want anybody over there on YouTube monitoring the room or?
Say again. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
All right, I'm gonna go out of here and go over there then.
No, I need you in here asking questions. Asking questions too. Answering questions.
Okay, it's gonna be some slapback, but all right.
It's gonna be some slapback.
Yeah, because it's trailing over there. So it's gonna be a little behind.
Oh, it's all good, man. You know I don't give a damn what nobody say about me. I don't. Do I give a shit?
Look like they're monitoring themselves because they're already retracting stuff.
All right, I don't give a damn what people say. So come on now. All right, here we go.
Civil engineering question. I suggest you call the municipality. Look at how many cops you got for a guy with a sign. I mean, seriously, you need to get someone in the county on there before you go arresting someone falsely violating my First Amendment protected civil rights on the word of a grocery store guy.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. Today's story features Mr. Porter. Be sure to check out his channel and let him know I sent you. Mr. Porter has a long history of protesting politicians by displaying large signs in public that some may find offensive because of the various profanities included on the signs. Because of this, he has had many interactions with local police departments and sheriff's deputies, and he documents the encounters by recording them. About a year ago, Mr. Porter positioned himself on the public easement on Longmeadow Road with a sign that addressed Governor Larry Hogan. Also on the public easement are advertisement signs for various businesses in the nearby shopping center. Not long after his arrival, an unidentified officer arrives on scene. Mr. Porter began filming because, as you'll hear in the video, body cam footage not only costs money to retrieve, it is often censored, delayed, denied, missing, incomplete, muted, blurred, or blacked out. Filming your interactions allows you to control the angle and provides you with an immediate, unbiased, and free record of a potentially dangerous encounter.
I know you got body camera, but you guys charge money. You guys charge money to give out body camera footage.
I didn't know that.
You do. It's $40.
We just got a call pretty much about your sign, but as long as you're not technically on Martin's property and they don't want you gone, I got no issue with it. All right.
Well, Martin's can't tell me to leave from public property. I'm not on Martin's property. I wouldn't protest on their property. I'd protest on public property. I mean,
Yep, that's fine.
I know the law.
First Amendment right here. So like I said, you're good.
Are you the one that was parked over there?
No. I'm coming from like halfway area.
All right, because there's one over there that he was trying to be sneaky, and then he went over there, and then you popped up over here. So I just thought maybe you went around the building or something.
Yeah, whoever called in just said Martin, so I just figured come in the front.
Martin's didn't call in though.
Go ahead.
Martin's didn't call.
I just like I said, they just gave the Martin's
The
address.
locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin's is not the one who called you.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Like I said, I'll get out of your hair then.
Well, I'll be in Washington County at multiple different locations over the next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same sign. There's not that many guys with a "Suck My Larry Hogan" sign,
Yeah.
so you can believe that it'll be me. It'll be this exact sign you're looking at here, and I'm going to go to a couple places this morning.
Okay.
I'm just looking for different areas to access different voter populations and different routes with different volumes of traffic. Do you know what the busiest intersection in your county is, ma'am?
I don't know. Actually.
Would you tell me if you knew?
If I knew, yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure. Like I said, traffic's definitely picking up now since they lifted some restrictions.
Yeah, those restrictions are unconstitutional, and Larry Hogan's a sucking, and that's why I have a sign that says that's pretty much what he is.
Like I said, you're allowed to say whatever you want. So,
I hear you.
all right, well, I'll let you get back to it, okay?
Well, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a good one.
The first officer leaves without issue, but not long after, a second unit arrives on scene.
Good. How you doing?
Okay, let me know.
That way we're even.
That's right. I'm okay with that. So this property is owned by Martin's.
This is actually a public easement right here. Did you see Public Works stop by and talk to me?
I did not.
Okay, because I have Public Works stop by, say, no, you're good to go. You're on public right away, public easement. We just want our picture taken with your sign.
Okay. Well, I have the senior commercial property manager for Martin's Giant that says they own this property.
You can't own the public sidewalk and public easement here. Look at the public utilities. That's a gas right away. That's a public easement. That is a sign put up by the municipality. It's not put up by Martin's. Martin's doesn't put up street signs. Anywhere a street sign is, I can be, according to the American Civil Liberties Union, who I've already spent lots of time consulting with ahead of time.
Okay, I understand that. But like I said, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably an agreement that was made through Martin's.
There's no way you can agree to waive public access, public right-of-way, public utilities easement. I'm standing here looking at a gas line easement. I'm standing here looking at signs. Those are signs the government put up. Those are not signs that were put up by Martin's. Martin's doesn't put up street signs. I suggest you call Mr. Mullendore, and why don't you ask him, and why don't you call Public Works, because they were just here and told me that I was legal. And if you're telling me that you know more than the Public Works guys, I mean, I'd be a little bit confused.
I'm not saying I know more than them. I'm just letting you know what the Martin's.
Martin's is making a false argument because they don't like the sign, evidently. I mean, did you try to solicit a trespass from Martin's just now? Like, did that girl go in there and ask them if they wanted me trespassed?
We did not. We just went to ask who owned the property. That's all we did. They said they did.
Okay, well, you can't ask a grocery store person a civil engineering question. I suggest you call the municipality. So you hear what he just said? He asked an employee of the grocery store where the property line ended. Is that a viable source of information for you to be enforcing law against?
Absolutely not.
Negative.
Nope.
Okay, but he knows, or he would probably assume that most normal citizens would know that. And so, you know, again, police officers going to walk up and they're going to try to tell you anything they, you know, that they can. They are allowed to lie legally. We're going to get into that in a second too. But they are legally allowed to lie. Now, this dude just probably doesn't know, and is probably just trying to, you know, tell this dude anything he can to get him to alleviate the situation easily. But the dude is not bothering anybody except for the sign may be, you know, bugging somebody or a little bit profane to someone. But I want you to focus on how well the guy knows what he can do. Meaning he's not out, even though he has a sign. So when you have a sign out there and it says whatever he says, sheriff, whatever, can eat a dick or suck a dick or whatever he says, what are you looking for when you have a sign out there in the open? At the very least,
You're looking for the smoke. You're looking for that smoke.
Looking for the smoke. At the very minimum, at the very minimum, you're looking for the smoke, right? You're looking for some type of smoke. You're looking for something. You're looking for somebody to at least to be noticed in public by the sign, by citizens or whatever. But you're hoping to piss somebody off, usually. So most likely the cop. So if you're going to do that, what needs to happen?
You got to know what you're talking about.
You got to
know where the rights are and what you would violate. And it sounds like this guy did, because he always said he got in contact with such and such before and they told him what it was. So he already knows what he could do and what he can't do.
Right. But again, they don't. But what I'm showing you, so if you're gonna get engage, this is what I'm saying. If you're gonna engage with law enforcement, then you need to be armored up. You got to have the legal hands. if you want the legal smoke, you got to have the legal hands. I say this over and over again. Now, apparently, homeboy does, but they don't. The police officers don't. So watch how deep they get into it.
This is county, right? Okay, so why don't you call it county? Because I already did. And why don't you? I don't know, because I talked to county and I also talked to the city about the spot on Eastern Boulevard I was at yesterday.
So you don't know who you talked to?
Nope. Go ahead and call him now. I'll tell you, this is not Martin's property, and you'd be falsely arresting me if you did arrest me for trespass or attempted to issue a trespass. It would be a false issuance of a trespass. You'd be violating my First Amendment protected civil rights, freedom of speech, freedom to protest. Wow. You know, it's like you're trying to make up a reason to get me off property.
I'm not trying to make up a reason at all.
Okay. Well, listen, you can't go by the word of a pissed off grocery store guy. I want you to.
In front of a county guy that you don't even know.
Okay, you're right. The county guy I don't even know that posted his picture all over Facebook. It'll be on there soon with a tag for me. But in the meantime, can you explain to me why there's a gas right away? Why I'm right off the center line? Why there's a 12-foot easement off the side of the road anywhere in the county? And I know that because of when I called to put my mailbox in. They said it's a 12-foot easement the county has on either side, regardless of who owns the land. And it's considered public property. So if someone breaks down, they can pull off in your driveway or whatever. But he said, we allow you to put mailboxes there, you know, unless there's a conflict with utilities. So the bottom line is you need to get someone in the county on there before you go arresting someone falsely violating my First Amendment protected civil rights on the word of a grocery store guy.
Mr. Porter has sufficiently presented his case, but I would like to point out that almost every county has a parcel and zoning locator available for free on the internet. In this case, Martin's grocery store is here. Mr. Porter is here, based on the GIS map. The public right-of-way extends over 10 feet into the grassy area, and Mr. Porter is legally displaying his sign in the same area as Pet Value and Domino's Pizza. However, the officers are only concerned with Mr. Porter's sign.
Let me explain something to you. I'm going to explain it loud and clear. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to assert my First Amendment protected civil rights. And there's no Nazi who's going to take me off this property today.
I'm not saying I'm going.
Do you know how many people know I'm here right now who are checking on me?
Probably a lot.
Yeah. I've already consulted with Friedman, Fromme, and Thrush in Baltimore. I've already consulted with the American Civil Liberties Union. Okay. Felipe told me everything. I've spoke to the county multiple times. You go ahead and call the county. They're going to tell you.
Now you see how armored up this dude got before he went out there? Before he went out there fucking with the cops, he armored up. He wanted to make sure, like, look, y'all fuck with me. Y'all fucking up right now. I know what I'm doing. So I'm just telling you, this is what knowing the law will do for you. The police will have no recourse. They have to follow rules. Most people don't understand that. These niggas in these damn punk ass in these uniforms, they have to follow rules. They have to. They just can't be walking around with all this deadly ass equipment on without checks and balances. But they know you don't know. And the thing is, why do you think they don't teach the law in school?
You would have no need for the police officers.
None. If they taught law in school, the police officers would be obsolete. Because if I'm policing myself, what I need you for? If I know the laws, now just because you know the laws doesn't mean that you're gonna follow them. So you probably still need, the people to make sure that you understood them. But if more and more people knew the fact that a police officer has to prove, or has to at the very least show that he thinks you're committing some type of crime before they're able to legally engage with you, that would alleviate 90-some% of police encounters. Because even if you were doing something fucked up, if you knew that, all you would have to do is just stand on the law and make him prove everything. Him or her prove everything. So again, knowing the law is the solution. It's the way through. But I can't tell you, you have to do it. You have to know it for yourself.
It's a public easement off the center line and then off the side. And they're going to tell you that I'm allowed to stand here. You see all these different places put signs up. They're allowed to do whatever they want. They don't need to go to Martin's and say, hey, Martin's, can I go ahead and put a sign up on the side of the road? Just like when Ryan Holmes has their signs up everywhere on the side of the road, no one can stop them because it's public easement. You're allowed to do that. I'm allowed to stand here and protest. If you want to protest with me, no problem. Hold on.
I'm not trying to take away your right.
You're currently distracting me from holding up my sign. Can you please leave? No, I need to hold it up in the air to clear these county road signs and stuff. See the county road signs? They get in the way of the viewers as they're approaching, and at the speed they're traveling, they need all the time in the world to see my giant "Suck My Larry Hogan" sign. What? No. This is where I'm standing. I'm not gonna. Have you ever protested Governor Hogan? So I'm an expert at protesting Governor Hogan because I've been doing it all week. Okay, as well as I'm sure you're well aware.
First time I've ever meeting you.
Okay. All right, are we done here? Why don't you go call the county?
I'll make a phone call.
Call the county. They're going to tell you that I have a right to walk along the side of the road, okay? If I'm walking on the side of the road or standing on the side of the road, I can't be trespassed because it's a public easement regardless of who owns the land. But I can assure you that when you have the county putting in road signs, that's where the public's allowed to stand. Now, if I was protesting on Martin's property next to their stop sign that they installed all the way over there, I could understand your position and I would leave. But I
want y'all to see this. They have a dude come out to measure. I want y'all to see this.
Like when you were walking away.
Now, first of all, this is just crazy because now they're just trying to prove a point. The police officers could have been just left this dude alone. He's not doing anything wrong other than, having a sign that's a little profane in public, dissing their boss. But now this is, if you see public signs in the easement, you can't put your public sign on someone else's property. So that obviously shows that that's public property, but they're going to push the line the whole way.
Right away. Okay. So from Yep. And the bird an inch here or there.
Now, I got a question. Are you telling me these signs are on private property and you're not allowed to walk along the side of the road here? No, you public right of way, public easement.
That's a county right of way.
Right.
Okay, we have 20 foot, 50-foot right of way.
Gotcha.
Okay, not all roads have the same right of way.
Okay.
This road has a 50-foot right of way.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the utility easement, the public easement on the side?
25 feet from the center of the road.
Okay.
Split the road. 25 feet this way, 25 feet down.
Okay.
That's our right of way. Okay. That would be.
So stand on the curb and try not to fall into traffic.
I'm telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what our right of way is. How far?
So they're actually basically telling this nigga he actually got more room than he thought. They're basically saying, nigga, you actually have more room than
Exactly.
than you thought you had. And these cops look like some dumbasses.
Well, they had been
How much-
doing like that.
How much money
before.
how much money this waste though? How much money this waste?
Okay, waste the money.
It's a waste of money.
They got more education in this 30 minutes than they did when they were in academy.
Insane. But again, this is their, I need to be right. You need to do what I say. They have a crazy nigga just hard on basically for you doing what they say. They've been watching SWAT and LAPD, LAPD movies and all kind of shit since they was kids, and in them movies and in them shows, you did what the popo said. Colors. in every damn melanated movie, the niggas are scared of the popo. So why in the hell wouldn't you be in real life?
Well, that's the program. They show you that, and you start thinking that's the truth, and you just fall in line because you be acting like a sheep. But in reality, like you said, you put your armor on, you know the law, bam, it's different.
They can't do, and they left out looking like stupid asses, having wasted a damn couple of hours and the city's money and time. So we're gonna move past that. I just wanted to show you how this dude was armored up before he was out there, and they were really trying to test him, and it even worked out better than he thought. He was like, oh, wait a minute. So
Yeah, they won't be showing this to their buddies.
man,
The
please.
body cam.
Man, what? What? Okay. Is this the one I wanted to show y'all? Man, we got a lot to get through today. Hold on, man. Let me see. All right, we're gonna go through this one real quick. Then we'll get to then we'll get to audit the audit. Because we got some stuff to go over with him, but this is a perfect except for his you can do pretty much everything this dude did, except remain a little more calm or calmer than he did, even though he was starting to catch himself a lot. But watch how he blazes these cats. This is really what knowing the law do for you.
I pulled you over because the young lady came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
If you suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, I have to identify myself. You have no probable cause to pull me for a traffic violation. I asked you why you pulled me, just so you're aware you're being videotaped. Yeah, there's no good side on the cop's face. Sustain some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve. I did. What is your name and badge number?
Okay, I need a 0051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard? Oh, I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime. I don't. Then am I free to go? This is an illegal detainment. Every single cop in this nation is a liar. All right? I used to be one of them.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. Today's story features Mike from Awakening the Masses, who was working a case in Jacksonville, Florida as a private investigator. He is also a certified interrogator with prior law enforcement experience. He was conducting mobile surveillance for a domestic case in an attempt to prove his subject's infidelity. In this situation, Mike began surveilling the subject at 2 p.m. and had already been successful in collecting evidence. But the subject became aware of Mike and called the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, claiming that he had been stalking her for several days. As it turns out, the subject had been the focus of an investigation for quite some time and had already caught other PIs following her, including the day prior. Mike was pulled over because of the stalking accusation. But before we dive into the encounter, today's video is sponsored by the Ridge Wallet. Mickey, return it within RFID on code. Side is an entry to win. You prefer keep your.
Oh shit! I'm getting pulled over. All right, I'm getting pulled over. Yeah, I'm getting pulled over. All right. Yeah. Right on. I'm gonna leave you on speaker. All right.
How we get to meet one another? How are you doing? What's going on with you following me? Are you an investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young lady came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady?
Now, he just said, "Have I committed a crime?" And the police officer says, "What?"
Nope. Let me go. Am I free to go?
Hey, Kev, though, but the police officer did say a lady called saying that he was following her since yesterday at the airport. So that's probable cause right there, right?
Negative.
That's just her word for his word.
Yeah, exactly. And plus,
that's color of the law. He could use that. Police could use the color of the law.
Negative.
The color of the law is wrong. Is against the law.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. So he has to prove that this guy is the subject of the stalking or whatever. He just can't immediately assume that this dude is that. He have to prove in some type of way that he suspects this guy, and at the very least that he suspects this guy, that he could be this person. Because remember, you said, you did I commit a crime? He said, no, you haven't committed a crime. But what's the crime? What crime? He doesn't necessarily have to commit a crime. It's what crime do you suspect me of having committed, in the midst of committing, or about to commit?
So Claire, if you're saying that, so if the officer got the woman and said, can you identify, is this the guy that's been following? If she said yes, how does that change the situation?
Wait, say that one more. If what happened?
If the officer went and got the lady who said this guy had been following her since the airport, if she identified this guy, yeah, that's him, he's the one who's been following me, how does that change the situation now?
But they can prove that. They would still have to prove it. He just can't say it is. He can be like, yo, where was you at? Where were you at this time? Still like alibis and your phone. They can tell where your phone was by tracking. And
all right,
today it's hard. It's easy to get an alibi today when you got cell phones to prove where you was. All you gotta do is
but Kevin, would she have to file like an official complaint so he wouldn't be able to do that? Because the cop can't do nothing right now.
No, the cop has to. First of all, the cop, he's already admitted that he hasn't committed a crime. So now everything after this, the cop has to prove. The cop has to prove everything, or he has to let this dude go.
Lady had called and gave specific license plate and the type of vehicle that he was driving. It'd be a different story, right?
If they gave a description of a person who they considered was stalking, yeah, again, the police officers do have a job they get paid for something. That's what people act like they don't get paid. They get paid for something. So, if there was a report of someone stalking, they have to investigate, or a report of an assault or a robbery or any of these things. They have to investigate that shit. So, they're not always violating your rights when they roll up and they ask you some questions, because something may have happened. There may be some suspicious activity in the area, and you may fit the description of someone who was committing that suspicious activity. So again, they have a right to investigate. Now, do you have a right to help them with their investigation? Absolutely not. They have to prove everything, every goddamn thing. Everything that they're looking for, they have to prove it. Unless what?
Unless you help them with their investigation.
Unless what?
Unless you help them with their investigation by talking.
By running your mouth. That's when they don't have to come up with everything. That's when you give it up, when you give it all up. So again, watch how this dude knows the law. This dude is on it. He used to be a police officer, so he should know. But I like how he uses that shit to kill these dudes.
I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate what? But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
You mind getting that light out of my eyes?
Sir, it's nighttime. I don't know you from Adam's house yet. I don't know if you have weapons in here.
You can't move my hands right here.
Well, I don't know if you have weapons in here, man. So I'm gonna keep my flashlight right here where it is. I don't have it in your face. That would be in your face. I have it down. I'm trying to show you that respect. I'm illuminating the vehicle. My safety. Now, would you agree that I've answered every question you've asked me? And all I asked you was one simple question.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. You have your driver's license, registration, insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir. I've already explained that to you. Now you can play the back and forth rigmarole all you want to. I've explained to you why I pulled you over.
Okay, and
The
you
young
didn't have PC. I'm not suspected of committing a crime.
In order for a police officer to ask you for your driver's license and registration, what has to, at a traffic stop, what has to happen first?
There has to be probable cause that you committed a crime or an infraction.
Which is why I asked him, did you see me, did you pull me over for a traffic violation? No. Well, you can't ask me for my license and registration. If you didn't see me violate a traffic law when I was in this car.
Even if it is a stop and ID state.
Yeah, even if it is a stop and ID, you didn't see me violate a crime.
Now,
So
excuse me, if the cop was slick and said, yo, you were speeding, that changed the game?
If the cop says you were speeding, then they have to, you can challenge that in the court.
Okay.
But this dude, I think this dude his camera was on the whole time. So that would usually show the speed you drive. That's why everybody, you should be driving with a goddamn dash cam. If y'all driving without a dash, they're cheap as hell. They under $100. But you should get one that faces both ways. That's going to be a little bit more than $100. You want front and back shooting dash cams. But it'll show, it keeps the speed. One that also keeps the speed, what speed you're going. Because right there, it'll prove the police officer wrong. Usually when a police officer sees a dash cam, they won't try and lie about your speed. Because they'll know you'll pull that shit up real quick. But what could the officer have said that this dude was doing? What could the officer have used as a real reason to pull him over?
The plate light was out.
Was his plate light? No, I'm saying something that he was actually doing. We don't know that his plate light was out.
He was on the phone.
He was being suspicious.
Wait, two people just said it.
He was on the phone.
On the phone.
But that depends on the jurisdiction, though, too, right? Because I know where I'm in now, they can walk around and talk on the phone. When I was in GA, that you couldn't do that. So I don't know if it's the same thing
in California, it's a misdemeanor to drive talking on the phone. And so I know it is in a lot of other states too, because you crash. So again, you have to look at your state, but California, and I know in a lot of other states, it's a misdemeanor to drive while talking on the phone, which is why people throw their phone on the ground when they see Popo. People have broke their phones. They don't throw it on the ground so hard, shit, when they see the Popo roll up. So, but if he didn't do that, it may not be a law in that state. But let's keep watching, and just pay attention to this guy, the brother, and see what happens to him later on.
You've been following this young lady.
Do you know that, sir? Did you see that? Did you see that?
Came back out. Why'd you come back by?
I don't have to answer questions.
You don't have to answer questions. Okay. You do have to identify yourself.
Sir, if you suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, I have to identify myself. You have no probable cause to pull me for a traffic violation. I asked you why you pulled me.
Because the young lady says that you've been following her since yesterday.
So you believe everything everyone says to you?
I'm conducting an investigation.
Okay. Well, you conduct right away, sir. At this point in time, I elect to not say anything. I elect to speak say anything without having my attorney present. That would be Eric Friday.
Call him. Tell him to come up with. We're at the 8100 block of Arlington Road.
Just so you're aware, you're being videotaped.
I do not care. Do you give a good time of the right side? You the best side.
Yeah, there's no good side in the cop's face.
Well, you're one of those people.
Yeah, one of those people. And you're one of those people, right? Gun and badge for an extra rice, right?
No, it doesn't grab me an extra rice.
Yeah. How about you do your job and honor your oath?
Telling me that somebody's been following her since yesterday? Yeah, I'm gonna investigate.
Yeah, you just take everything everyone comes up to you. Okay, I just said someone pulled a gun on me. You gonna go investigate that?
I sure would. Who pulled a gun on you? Who pulled a gun on you?
Cop is clowning.
Someone pulled a gun on you?
I don't answer questions, definitely.
You don't answer questions. Just talk, young lady. Just stand by them. Stand by.
The deputy returns to his vehicle and 3 other units arrive on scene. The one that initiated the traffic stop leaves the scene without identifying himself, and the others that have just arrived stand around behind Mike's vehicle. 18 minutes pass before he is contacted again.
Well, the guy that pulled me is leaving. The guy that pulled me over is leaving. Am I free to go, deputy? Am I free?
So the brother done bounced. The brother who pulled him over, he gone.
He ghosted in the wind.
He ghosted. He out of here. See you later. Assalamu alaikum.
Great time.
Leave the Caucasian cops holding the bag.
Right. This dude like, hey, those deuces. And I'm out. And now these other 3 cops that showed up. He's like, what? They don't even know what happened. They don't even know what he would pull over for. Now they about to argue that. Now they just about to argue the point of we need to see your ID. But watch how he get at these cats.
No, sir, not yet. What am I being detained for, sir?
When I get around to get my car where it needs to be, I'll explain to you.
Buddy, what's going on? Name and badge number, sir?
66.5.
So again, when the police officer walks up, what's the question? What do you ask them?
Name and badge number.
Why am I being pulled over?
First off, well, all of those, but yeah, you can ask them in either order, but it's definitely why am I being pulled over? And first off, I would ask name and you should say name, badge number, and what?
Surety.
Right.
Official bond.
Right.
Surety bond number.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
They ain't gonna give you that, but yeah, why not?
It may not give it to you, but watch the whole situation change.
Have a nice day, sir.
Watch the whole energy change when you ask for a police officer's bond number, surety bond number, something that nobody's supposed to know about.
What do you need with that?
I need your name, badge number, and surety bond number right now.
You're free to go, sir.
You say it just like that too. You demand it because it is public knowledge. It is public information. It's not like it's not like it's some private shit that they can hide. You can go look it up. So you do have a right to ask for it. Now they don't necessarily they're not obligated to give it to you, but you can go find it. It's public record. But just watch though, you do it to show you not the average person to be fucking with. Name, badge, and surety number right now.
Or insurance number.
Surety bond number or insurance number. Yep. Ask for the insurance number. Name, badge number, and surety bond number or insurance number. See how the situation changed.
It's an MASINSIN. So I'd like to know why I'm being detained.
So we want to someone saying that we're cleaning your stock. Is that, are you an investigator?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not giving you gentlemen a hard time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll this window up, okay?
Okay.
I'd like to know, let me speak for a moment, sir. No disrespect. I would like for you to articulate what crime you suspect me of committing or what crime you suspect me of about to commit.
No, we just have a reasonable suspicion to figure out what's going on here.
No, sir. So you don't get to detain me to figure out if I've committed a crime, sir. The law and the statute states, in order for you to detain me, you must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that either I have committed.
Yeah, we have probable cause.
What is your probable cause?
You got some complaining that we got that the red.
That's not probable cause, sir. What crime do you suspect me of committing?
The deputy now claims that he has probable cause that Mike has committed the crime of stalking. It appears as though the deputy hasn't a single clue how to do his job. Reasonable articulable suspicion and probable cause are often used interchangeably, but are very different. Reasonable articulable suspicion is defined by the Supreme Court as the sort of common sense conclusion about human behavior upon which practical people are entitled to rely. It cannot be a gut feeling, but rather a reasonable inference drawn from the officer's training and experience. Reasonable articulable suspicion is required to detain someone, whereas probable cause is a practical, non-technical standard that must be met to make an arrest. None of the deputies have witnessed any of Mike's behavior and are acting based on a phone call made by the subject of his investigation. This is called hearsay. It is both terrifying and embarrassing that this officer doesn't seem to have the slightest clue about any of it, and they continue to ask Mike for his ID.
You suspect me of committing stalking?
I want to know, were you anywhere near?
I don't answer questions.
Do you know?
I do not answer questions. If you're going to articulate that you suspect me of committing a crime and have reasonable suspicion of that.
I don't agree with it. If you don't agree with our probable cause.
Your name and badge number, sir?
Sir, what's your name?
Your name and badge number, sir?
Are you going to remember?
All of you being recorded. I've got 4 cameras in this truck. You're required by policy to issue your name and badge number. I'm going to ask you what. I'm speaking to this gentleman right now. I'll get your name and badge number in a minute. Your name and badge number. What's your name? I didn't hear it because I was sitting here speaking to this gentleman. So I'm going to ask you once again. If you want to be a smart ass about it, I'll file an internal affairs case on you. I didn't hear it. I'm asking you once again. So to extend some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve. What is your name and badge number?
Okay, so I need them 0051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
Oh.
Your name and badge number, sir.
When I give you my name and badge number, I have your name?
Name and badge number, sir.
I'd like to have your name, sir.
See, the thing is, sir, the law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
I don't.
Then am I free to go? This isn't like
I don't. Well, this need to be ended immediately. He just admitted, right? He just ended the whole damn detainment. Now, any point after this, is what?
Unlawful detainment.
Unlawful detainment.
And harassment.
All of that.
Excuse me, Kev. So it's a time limit how long they can hold you. So when the first officer left, did the clock start over again for the next three guys?
Like they started handing him off like a joint. They start passing him around like a baton on the track. No, it's again, your time is your time. It's not the police officer's time. So they should have anytime the police officer roll up, they should have whatever information that the previous police officer had. He should have filled them in if they're taking over. Otherwise, they're supposed to be just support. And the main police officer is supposed to conduct the investigation. But being the fact that they're rolling up now would suggest that the police officer or whoever it was, fully informed him of the situation and handed it off to a superior and then got out of there. But why did he bounce? Why did the brother bounce like that? So.
Detainment. This is an illegal detainment. Give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime. I don't. Then am I free to go?
Again, right there, he killed himself. I don't. Now, if I sue you, right, any point after this, I'm getting paid because you just admitted I don't suspect you of about to committing of a crime that you're about to commit or having committed a crime, which is the only standard for detainment. Which means any point after you have admitted that you don't suspect me of anything, it becomes an unlawful detainment.
Illegal detainment. This is an illegal detainment. My attorney, Mr. Eric Friday, would love to bring up a civil lawsuit against you in the city for this illegal detainment.
Sir, we're not trying to upset you.
I'm not
upset. We had a radio call. Let me give you a.
Go right ahead, sir.
We got a radio call that a vehicle matching this description of your vehicle was harassing someone in a short sense. Okay. Don't know what's transpired.
Now, do you see how calm and nice he talking?
Yeah.
Y'all see how after he's well aware that this dude is super versed in his rights and confident about it.
And knows he's got him over a barrel already. So
that's the fucking thing. Y'all better understand, man, when y'all doing this, if you ain't gonna be real about fake it. Shit. Fake your confidence. Fake it till you make it. That's a term in business. Fake it till you make it. A lot of people you see at the top of the business game, when they first got in or they got their high positions, they ain't know shit about that position. They just winged it until they figured this shit out.
That's fact.
and honestly, I would tell you that's actually most CEOs of companies, big people who got high positions. You need experience for whatever you're going to do to really be good at it. And most people, when you get a new position, you don't have the experience, so you're not going to be good. Everybody's going to be faking it until they make it. So when at the law though, when you're spouting the law, you got to make sure you sound confident in what you're saying, because the police officers are taught that too. That's a tactic that they're taught in the precinct or in police academy, is to talk forceful, to speak with force with your voice, because it commands. And most people aren't sure of themselves. And when you speak with command, people back down. That's a fact of law. That's a fact of life. There are very few alpha mentalities in the world. That's a rare mentality, an alpha mentality. Most people are betas or omegas anywhere down the line. They don't want the smoke. They want to be left to the side. So a police officer, all they got to do is escalate the aggression, and most people back down because you believe, oh, aggression plus gun plus, badge means I'm about to get smacked up. At some point in time, if I say something that he don't like or she don't like, I'm probably gonna get smacked up. And so your voice starts shaking and stuttering. Even these people who are out here who believe they know the law and they're out here with these cameras and enforcing the law, they get to talking with the voice, the shaky voice. You get the roller coaster voice and you let the police officer know that you about to bullshit. Oh, you just talking. This is some shit you heard on the video. If I keep pressing you, you're gonna crack. But not this dude. Again, confidence, and they know he knows what he's talking about. They're like, oh, this nigga know what he's talking about. Let's kind of ease up and kind of cop-splain our way out of this.
We don't know anything about it. Your car meets what we were told, and that's why we're questioning you. Okay. And that's very simple. All we need to do is just ask you your name and the car and where you've been.
May I ask how my name is going to establish whether I've harassed someone or not?
You ask for our name. It would be nice to have your name as well.
It would be, but see, I don't.
You don't have to give it.
I appreciate you saying that, sir.
All right, you don't have to give it.
Bam! Now didn't he admit that? Wait a minute. You don't tell me you're gonna admit that you don't suspect me of a crime. You admit I don't have to give you my ID. Why the fuck am I still sitting there? Why the hell am I still sitting here?
No, but we just like to know. So we can, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
My name is Mike, sir. You can address me as Mike.
Okay, that's fine, Mike. That's a good, great beginning. And the reason why is because, like I said, your criminal description we were given.
I respect
doesn't
that.
mean
I respect
you're guilty.
that. I respect it. You're talking to an ex-law enforcement officer, buddy.
All right, we're not saying you're guilty of anything. We didn't say that.
Then you are illegally detaining me. I asked the last deputy that left, what was his reason for stopping me? He didn't stop me for trapping. Let me calm down. I shouldn't be yelling at you.
Thank you.
I should be doing
I'm not yelling at you.
This deputy that stopped me, sir, did not articulate he was stopping for a traffic violation. Then I asked him what his probable cause was, or what crime he suspected me of committing, or what reasonable crime or reasonable suspicion.
The case is, as I stated, is that we had a description of a vehicle. Your vehicle matched that, and we're just here to determine, no, you're not the one, or yes, you are the one.
But see, the law protects me. I don't have to answer questions.
Bam! See how he just killed him? He's like, we're here to determine if you are the one. Dude, great. I don't have to fucking cooperate with you though, nigga. Yeah, nigga, that's your job. But nigga, that ain't my job to help you. So stop sitting up here and acting like because you nice and you say, please cooperate, that I should do it. No. Hell no. Watch how you really get at him though. He about to really get at him about policing though in a second.
Yes, sir. But we're asking for your cooperation. And if we get that cooperation.
I'm cooperating. The fact that I extend my rights doesn't mean I'm not cooperating, sir. Would you agree with that, sir?
But I don't understand. If you said you're an ex-law enforcement officer and you understand that when somebody calls us and says, hey, this vehicle was following me, okay? And we stop you and we ask you questions regarding you, either you did or you didn't.
Correct.
What do you think a citizen, if they weren't doing anything wrong, would say, no, I'm not doing
But
that?
see, sir, as a law enforcement officer, I realize how LEOs twist people's words. Let me finish speaking, okay?
Yes, please do.
They twist people's words. Any attorney, and all you three gentlemen will know.
So LEO, for anybody listening, law enforcement officers, or LEO is the short term for law enforcement officers that they use for themselves.
Yes, please do.
They twist people's words. Any attorney, and all you three gentlemen will know, you don't ever speak to the cops. You don't ever talk to cops. Never. You never talk to cops unless you're legally obligated to. Nothing good can come from that. I'm very well of my rights, very well aware of my rights. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job. And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. Okay? Now, the fact that someone called you and said they're harassing doesn't give you the general order just to stop people.
No, that wasn't the reason why. Because a person in a vehicle that matched your description was doing that. We didn't say you were doing it.
Okay.
And that's all we're coming down to.
But how do you define harassment? Someone just posted you were harassing. Did you ask her what they did? Did you ask the person?
You said a red flag is a following person.
Is that a crime?
We haven't determined that. We just want to make sure.
Do you see where I'm going with this, sir? I mean, I understand you guys are doing your job.
Did you see them not argue with him when he said you never talk to cops? Nothing good can come from that. Did they have a rebuttal at all?
Nobody said nothing.
Negative.
Not one rebuttal. We can expedite the stop if you talk to us. None of that bullshit. No, he knew. The cop knew. He's like, dude, you're right. Nothing can come, nothing good, unless not speaking to the cops, not answering questions. That's the difference. You can ask questions if they're asserting your rights, in the line of asserting your rights. But if you're asking questions timidly with the veil of the police officer has the power to do something for you, then you're fucked. It's not gonna go well for you. But asking questions with confidence and authority, regarding your rights, the preservation of your rights, you want to do that.
Do you see how this goes? I'm aware of my rights. You do not have, or excuse me, you have the right to ask me whatever question you want.
You're really enjoying this.
I'm not enjoying anything. You know what I am enjoying? How you officers fail to realize that those badges and those guns don't give you the right to violate other people's rights. Sure you are. I've articulated to you that you are illegally detaining me. And because you choose to abuse your authority and not recognize that what I'm saying is a fact, you are illegally violating my rights.
To find out if you are the one or not the one that was violating this other woman's rights.
But I've made it clear, sir, I'm not going to answer questions. I've made it clear. You don't get to. Yes, sir. The fact that I'm exercising my rights does not mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not. It absolutely does not. Now, if I was doing something against the law or resisting you in some manner,
we can't determine that.
But you don't get to question me so I can give you information so you can make a case or not a case. I'm not saying I am this person. I'm not saying I am not this person. But would you fail to rip?
Did you hear that shit? Did you hear what he said? Is he killing them? He is blazing them right now. Let's hear that again. He is blazing these cops right now, explaining their job to them, but killing them.
I was doing something against the law, not. And that's my rights does not mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not. It absolutely does not. Now, if I was doing something against the law or resisting you in some manner,
we can't determine that.
But you don't get to question me so I can give you information so you can make a case or not a case. I'm not saying.
But you don't get to question me so I can give you information so you can make a case or not make a case. Did you hear what he just said? He killed him. Like, nigga, I don't have to give you the tools for you to do your job.
I'm this person, I'm not saying I am not this person. But what you fail to realize is I do not have to speak to you, sir. And that does not give you the right to detain me until you get some information to charge me with a crime. You don't get to search and search until I say something or you twist something I say to use it against me. You gentlemen have a dangerous job. There is 19 unsolved murders in this city. Okay? You've got much better things to do than f with me. Okay? I'm not a threat to anyone. What, sir, there's 5 cops here. The gentleman that pulled me, and if he had any reasonable articulate suspicion, is no longer here. I'm assuming, I don't know where he is or where he's gone. You 3 gentlemen have no first-hand information. No first-hand information. This officer that pulled me over said he spoke with some individual that says, apparently I doing something what is classified as harassment. No, you didn't say that. I said that officer. That
your vehicle was pulled.
Now, were you here? See this came here? That officer stood here and said he spoke to a woman that said I was harassing her and following her for days. I didn't say you three. The black gentleman, the gentleman that was here a few moments ago, that has now left the scene. So once again, gentlemen, hold on. Let me calm down.
Go ahead.
Once again, gentlemen, if you have a reasonable or articulate suspicion of me committing a crime or about to commit a crime, you have a right to detain me, ask me for my ID, which I will oblige you with, as I'm required by law. Short of that standard, you are illegally detaining me. I've asked to be free to go, and you are telling me until I give you some information, I'm not free to go. That is a violation of my rights, sir. Do you understand that?
Bam. He's like, motherfucker, there's no dancing around this, fool. You ain't gonna Chris Brown your way out of this, nigga. But he's hitting them so bad they want to find some way to rebut, but they can't because they're talking to one of their own who knows the inside of it. So what do you can't do nothing. It's not like you're talking to somebody who don't know who's biased against you. You're talking to one of your own who turned against his own because y'all so fucked up.
And he's already put you on notice multiple times. So qualified immunity is out the door.
Pretty much, it's gone. But let's keep it.
You know what, guys? I would love to give it to you because I used to be one of them. But because I'm aware of my rights and because of my life experiences with law enforcement, I choose to exercise my rights. Not to be difficult, sir. You guys have much more better things. See, this is it, because people don't know their rights. And because LEOs, I don't know you three gentlemen personally. I quit a department because I ratted out the crook cops that work with me. Okay? I'm sick of it. The corruption is everywhere. Every single cop in this nation is a liar.
Woo! He is blazing these niggas. He is blazing these niggas right now.
Baptized by fire.
I love it. Cause you can't be like, they can't be all super aggressive on him because he knows his right. He didn't do anything, first off. And then he knows he didn't do anything, and he knows they don't have the right to do anything to him because he didn't do anything. But also because he used to be one of them, and he's telling these niggas the truth. He hitting them in the mouth right now. He's like, look, y'all some corrupt motherfucker. Every goddamn cop is a goddamn liar. Every cop is a liar. Now watch how he gets them on this shit.
Cops that work with me, okay? I'm sick of it. The corruption is everywhere. Every single cop in this nation is a liar. All right? I used to be one of them. Yes, sir. If you're going to stand here and tell me you've never falsified, twisted a report just for your benefit, or provided false information, or saw one of your fellow brothers in blue violate someone's rights or do something wrong by the mere fact of you withholding that information and not going to your supervisor makes you a liar.
Woo, man, this nigga got the hatchet out on these niggas right now.
He's showing them his interrogation skills.
Scalping seat.
Man, he is scalping like whop, whop. He's like, you full of shit. You never falsified something on a report to make it fit to make it fit your benefit, or you never fucking just turn the other way when one of your brothers was doing some fucked up shit. You lying, right? He got him. He like, you lying. In all of the years you've been a cop, you never did that. Come on. He's like, you full of shit. Oh man, he's killing them right now. This dude.
Or one of your fellow brothers twisted a report just for your benefit, or provided false information, or saw one of your fellow brothers in blue violate someone's rights or do something wrong by the mere fact of you withholding that information and not going to your supervisor makes you a liar. In your life, you've never, ever lied. You've never, ever lied in your entire life. As a police officer, you've never lied in your life. Sir, you're allowed to lie in investigations. The Supreme Court has ruled you're allowed to lie. So your credibility just went out the window.
He's like, nigga, you're full of shit. You're allowed to lie as a police officer in the investigation. If it's to achieve the goal of obtaining probable cause, he got you.
If they didn't believe he was a cop before and certified interrogator, they believe him now.
Yep, they know he won now. He's using them interrogation skills, ain't he? He is ripping them a new asshole, boy.
I'm a certified interrogator, buddy. Don't sit here and play this game with me. You just lost your credibility. Now, any respectable person would say, of course I've lied. I've lied in the line of duty. I've lied in my personal life. Yeah. I got more integrity in my finger, buddy, you've got in your whole body.
Hey, sir, back to my original question.
Yes,
I
sir.
first got.
Yes, sir.
Hey, are you following somebody?
I don't answer your question, sir.
Okay.
Am I free to go? Thank you.
Bam.
And that right there is one of the biggest ownings I have ever witnessed on this channel. Mike obviously has an understanding of the law and was able to use his knowledge to escape what could have turned into something much darker. Incidents like
big boy in the middle
to show us that
hold on.
Enforcers are not only ignorant of your rights, but that they view them as privileges, ones that they can take away whenever they feel it suits their cause. Another big thanks to Rich Wallet for sponsoring this.
What'd you say?
Did you notice big dude in the middle? He kept backing up.
Yeah.
He was real uncomfortable.
He's like, this nigga gonna get me saying something, catch me saying something. Like he was on him.
Yeah, he had that.
Like, yep.
He
I ain't
had
about
that.
to say nothing else because he gonna catch me saying something that
He
I ain't
had that.
supposed to say.
He had that. I don't want to do this no more.
He had that. I don't answer questions. that's what the cop had to. Oh, I don't answer questions. He was backing on out the door, like, oh, I didn't mean to step into this room. I'm out of here. Buddy.
He was like, "You want some of this?" I went, "No, I'm going back to my vehicle. I don't even know why I'm here."
He's like, "You want some motherfucker?"
Okay. Meanwhile, if he was following the lady, she in Venezuela by now.
Right. She gone. Hey, but shout out to her. She got the cop, the investigator off of her. So she can go do her little dippy dip. Whatever she was doing.
He'll find her again.
Man, she funny though. She went and called the cops on him so she can get her little dip on. Man, women be shady.
No, the first cop was shady. Left them holding the bag and was in the wind.
Well, this tower is what is allowing me to track my sleep. It's coming from that.
Wait, what'd you say?
Yeah, the first cop was the slick one because he left all three of them holding the bag. He in the wind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The brother cop. Oh, the brother cop is hilarious. The brother cop is. Hey, let me tell you something. What if she was tapping the brother cop?
Exactly.
That was perfect.
What if she was tapping the brother cop and she sent the brother cop after him? And then the brother cop dips out.
Hilarious.
He's like, all right, I'm out, y'all. Man, when he find out that this dude used to be a former cop and all that, and he knows his rights, he's like, all right, this ain't gonna work the way I thought it was. So let me just slide on out the side, though.
Another tape they won't be showing their pals.
Man, hilarious. I think the brother cop was tapping it. I think he was. Oh man. All right, here we go. So Audit the Audit. People who watch Audit the Audit, very good channel. One of the ones we use a lot. But you always need, this is why you need to learn the law yourself and don't listen to anyone who tells you the law. Go look it up for yourself. That's the only true way to know the law and to be confident in it. These people who you see that have the most confidence when they're speaking the law are the people who actually went and read it. Once you read it and you know it's in the goddamn, there's nothing. What else is there? It's right there. You can show anybody after that. You can show the judge. You can show the goddamn police officer. You can show your mama. You can show anybody. You're confident. I know. I read this. It's right here. So always do your follow-up. Always research yourself. Use these as great markers and reference points for the law, but don't ever take it as law yourself. And we're going to see why in a second.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers traffic stops, reasonable suspicion, and citations, and is brought to us by Arkansas Online and NEA Reports channels. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On December 28, 2016, Officer Matthew Mercado of the Walnut Ridge Police Department pulled over Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway Company employee Adam Finley while he was working in an unmarked truck on railroad property in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas. The footage from Officer Mercado's body cam, which he turned on after the traffic.
Hold up real quick. Thunderbird said in the chat, they about to cry in the car. That's hilarious. Yeah, them cops there, they about to cry in the car. They was butthurt. For real. But I just read that. That shit was funny.
Was initiated shows that Mr. Finley was wearing a BNSF Railway logo jacket and that he provided Officer Mercado with his employee ID badge and driver's license. The first 30 seconds of the body cam footage did not capture audio and has been omitted from this episode.
You have anything concealed? Any weapons, anything like that? Okay. Well, what's with the attitude?
Nothing.
No, you have an attitude, and what's your problem?
I don't have no problem.
Yes, you do.
I'm good.
I can pull you over if I want.
That's fine.
Because I have a right to ask you what you're doing over there. Okay, didn't look like you were working. Sit back from me some too. You get up on me again, we're gonna have problems. I'm glad you think this is a joke, sir. I work there. What were you doing over there? And why aren't you in a marked vehicle? But I didn't see you doing no work over there. And you want to go back over there? Why you should have put your hands behind your back. Yeah, you obstructing with my operation.
Okay. A lot of things here for right off the bat. Does this police officer sound like he's confident in what he's doing?
Kev, this whole situation should have been over from the beginning because he identified himself. He's an employee of the railroad. He has ID. He belongs there. I don't know why the cop gonna say it doesn't look like you working. He could be on break it or doing paperwork.
Right.
It looks like
Go ahead.
it looks like somebody. It sounds like somebody pissed in his coffee or gave him the wrong donut this morning.
Or okay, so he doesn't sound like he's calm in his job. Like he sounds like he's a little antsy.
Yeah, he's mad about something. He got chewed out about something earlier, and he decided this is the cat he's gonna take it out on.
Or just not confident. Just not confident, which would tell me what if you saw a police officer, he came up and he didn't seem too confident in the things that he was saying to you. Like the dude was barely close to him. Back up off me. This is that. This dude is just going on one. The dude wasn't even near him. This is just proximity, just natural. You know, me getting out of the car, we're interacting. Just natural proximity. Hey, back up off me. Don't walk up on me. Like, again, what would you think about this officer?
They're quick triggered.
He's scared.
Right. When are police officers usually the most scared? Rookies. Rookies and are some of the, there are some of the people or the police officer group that commit the most violations because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They, they shadow a police officer all the time, but then, when it's really time for them to get in there and do it, the adrenaline is flowing, and they think, they go back to the training. No, I got to be hardcore, and I got to make this dude believe that that I'm aggressive and that they, I can't show any fear. And, it's the same thing in what they teach you about dogs. Don't show any fear to a dog. Show fear to a dog will eat your ass up. So, they're taught the same type of way, like the citizens are animals. And if you show any fear to the animal, it'll eat you alive. So be as aggressive as you possibly can, or at least, and administer as much aggression as you need to take control of the situation. So right off the bat, that's why they're always so aggressive, because quiet as kept, most people who are police officers aren't aggressive. They some punk ass bitches once you take them out of the badge and the and the uniform and all that stuff. Gun out of their hand. They some soft
nine times out of 10.
They softies. So which is why they need to do this, to make themselves feel, a little more important or a little more powerful than they actually are. So that's what this says to me, that this cop is a rookie.
Mr. Finley steps toward Officer Mercado in an attempt to open the back door of his truck to show the officer his work supplies. But as Mr. Finley steps forward, Officer Mercado aggressively shoves him backwards and places him into handcuffs.
What did I tell you about getting up on me? I wasn't. I was just trying to tell you something that I could prove that I was telling. What did I tell you about getting up on me? I'm sorry.
Would the handcuffing be considered a legal handcuffing based on the fact that the officer said he walked up on him?
No.
Negative.
Sure. Why not?
Confident male, no, he's not a danger or a threat to this man. Just like you talked about, close proximity. I'm getting out of my car. Get up off me. I'm throwing you in handcuffs. I'm not a danger to you.
But that might be looking at it logically. But if you listen to what the cop said, "Oh, get up off me," Kev just said that they're able to use as much force as needed to take control of the situation.
But then you have to look at. Go ahead.
If he feels like putting him in handcuffs will help him take control of the situation, then he'll justify that.
Who's that talking? Who's talking?
Matthew.
And I also think you have to look at the totality of the situation. The cop, through his body cam, shows that this guy is not being aggressive, not being confrontational, and he's still trying to find out what's really going on.
So what I'm saying though, is would this be considered a legal handcuffing? Because remember, handcuffing is a seizure, is a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights, because it's an unlawful seizure, or an unreasonable seizure, not unlawful, but unreasonable seizure. If it's not what are the three things you need to handcuff a person and for it not to be considered a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights?
A threat to the officer, a threat to the public safety, or if he's trying to flee.
Right. Or a threat to yourself. Or a
threat to yourself, yeah.
But a threat, that would just be considered threat, or threat to the citizen, threat to the officer, threat to the citizen or yourself. And yes, if you're trying to flee. Now, based off of the officer's actions, would the court say that he was acting reasonably when he handcuffed him, when the dude walked up on him?
No. I would say with a court, I think the court would agree with the officer, only because the officer he stated earlier,
don't walk up on me.
Don't walk up on me. And this gentleman, he's one of them carefree dudes who he probably like, man, this young buck right here, man, he don't know what he's talking about. He's just doing his thing, being, carefree. And to the officer, he violated. He stepped back in his space and he was like, boom. And I hate to agree with the officer because the officer is lunching, but the court's going to agree with the officer, in my opinion.
Anybody agree or disagree with that?
I would disagree with that because the body cam would show different. So his perception, the body cam showed that he first of all in proximity, right?
Turn your light down a little bit in the back because we can't hear you.
Man, you know I'm trying, Phil. You know I'm trying. All right. So the body cam say, okay, he gives us a version. This is what the body cam shows. The body cam shows the man gets out of his car to go to the back of his vehicle. And the officer, can you stop yelling? Go ahead. Just somebody else talk. I got too much going on.
Do y'all agree? Anybody know where Randall was trying to go? You want to pick up his argument?
Yeah, I will. Like you said, I don't think that the guy was being aggressive towards the officer at all. Even when the officer told him to step out of space, the guy was like kind of dumbfounded because he's not showing no aggression or, like you said, safety or danger to the public, himself, or the officer. What he was going into the car for could be a little suspect, but other than that, the officer still didn't have reasonable. I don't know about that because he was over at his job. So that's my argument right there.
And plus, I think the courts will see that the officer was the aggressive one the whole time.
Who's that? Who's talking?
Greg.
Who?
That's Greg.
Okay. Anybody else? Y'all agree with Greg and everybody else who just said that the court or that the officer acted unreasonably?
Yeah, Hodges makes a good point. Plus, they're going to probably give the cop a lot of latitude.
That's what I think.
Why are they going to give the cop a lot of latitude?
Because they're in league with the cops, and they'll give the cop the way more rope than he needs because, well, they're always going to give the cop the benefit of the doubt. So they'll probably lean toward the cop more so than the citizen.
Right. Okay. So let's look at this. We're gonna mark this time. This is what 2 minutes and 10 seconds in, but we're gonna go back to the first interaction for a second. Right.
8th, 2016, Officer Matthew Mercado of the Walnut Ridge Police Department pulled over Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway Company employee Adam Finley while he was working in an unmarked truck on railroad property in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas. The footage from Officer Mercado's body cam, which he turned on after the traffic stop was initiated, shows that Mr. Finley was wearing a BNSF Railway logo jacket and that he provided Officer Mercado with his employee ID badge and driver's license. The first 30 seconds of the body cam footage did not capture audio and has been omitted from this episode.
Okay, I wanted to see that real quick. Now let's jump back to this 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So you guys think, well, couple people say that the officer acted reasonably, but everybody else thinks that the officer acted unreasonably. Or two people think, do you think that the court would find it reasonable that the officer acted this way?
Yeah, I think that the cop acted unreasonably, but the court will probably side with the cop.
I disagree with that because I could see if there's no footage, but based on the interaction, it'll be hard for a court to really sit up here and say that the man was being hostile. He might have made a smirk or something, but you can't get penalized for that. The officer was more aggressive than he was. He was trying to comply with what he was saying based on video, what we have seen. So I highly doubt that's just my view. I don't think the court can really side with him on this. The cop,
yeah, but that's
they want to.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is that's assuming that the courts even look at the footage. If they believe the cop, they may not even look at the footage. And if they don't look at the footage, then they're going to side more than likely with the cop because it's going to be his word against the citizen. And who are they going to believe, the cop or the citizen?
Yeah, but if we're going by the video, if the citizen is smart enough to say, hey, watch the video, I mean, I do agree with you that, cop's word is usually they're going to go with, but I just say.
What did before the cop put him in handcuffs, what did the cop say? What did the cop tell him?
Don't come up on me.
Don't walk up on me.
Walk up on me, yeah.
And was the guy ordered out the car?
No, I don't.
It's likely. It's highly likely that he was ordered to get out.
I don't think they turned the.
Yeah, I don't think we heard of him being.
Yeah, the audio wasn't on.
Yeah, it wasn't on.
Audio wasn't on yet. But so
who actually got him handcuffed? Everything he done got him
Did
handcuffed.
the guy go in the back seat himself without the officer's permission?
Well, hold on. Let me address this handcuff thing. So with the officer telling him to not walk up on him, even though the officer didn't give him any space to move whatsoever. He didn't give any space to move. What does a police officer have at a police stop?
Unquestionable command.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it called again? Say it with clarity.
Unquestioned
command.
Unquestioned command. This is what the courts have given police officers. So that means what?
That whatever he says goes, and you have to listen and follow what he says.
As long as it's lawful.
As long as it's lawful. So if he tells you not to walk up on him and there's no space, that means you're supposed to be still for a second. That means you ain't supposed to move. This dude walked up on the police officer. Now again, I'm always in the middle. I'm going to play the middle advocate. You got to look at things from both sides, and then you make a decision. So a police officer, when they get attacked, a lot of the times it's out of nowhere. It's not never no dudes rarely square off. That's usually brothers who will square off against the popo. Be like, yo, what up there, nigga? Because that's what we do. But most of the time when the popo get attacked, it's out of nowhere because you don't want the popo to be on guard. Anybody really. That's really how you take take a nigga out. You take him by surprise. So a police officer, when this dude is that close to him and he goes to the back to grab whatever's in the back of the trunk, the police officer doesn't necessarily know that's what he's doing. So, what I'm saying is the court would say it's a reasonable conclusion that the police officer could have assumed that the guy may have been attacking, especially after saying, don't walk up on me. And then, even though he didn't give him any space to do that, that meant stand still until we get some type of clarity going on what this situation is. But he kept moving. He's nervous and adrenaline is flowing and shit, so that's why he's moving and shit. But again, this handcuffing would probably be considered lawful based off the fact that the police officer told him, don't walk up on me. Excuse me. He told him, don't walk up on me, and then he did it. Now, it's not like he just handcuffed him right off the bat. Now, even though this is very thin excuse, man, having somebody in a handcuff. The court gives that leeway to police officers. So it would probably be considered a lawful handcuffing. However, under normal circumstances, the police do not have the right to handcuff you unless you are a threat to the police officer, a threat to yourself or the public, and a flight risk. This is why you always need to remain calm. Don't be yelling, don't be all that, because that you give the police officers a right to say, oh, well, they were yelling and going crazy. They were aggressive. I had to make sure that, that we were safe, that everyone around us was safe. They looked like they might have flew off the handle at any point. But if you're calm and you're talking articulately to the police officer, what are they gonna say? I handcuffed them because they were talking sense. He was talking too much logic. So I had to handcuff him.
They'll say what they always say. I cuffed him for officer safety.
Yeah, that ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, it didn't help also when you say it like that, because I was gonna say the cop have a right to even, as far as the investigation, we didn't get to see was the cop in the right, but he already gave us his ID and everything. So it's kind of like you said, it goes back to questionable command now, because he didn't try to battle, ask the cop why I need to give you my information.
Right. So So again, homeboy just had he could have listened to the police officer a little bit more. Now it's gonna get a little bit more egregious where the police officer gets way out of hand.
I'm sorry, I didn't. You want to be a I'm sorry. You better shut your mouth.
Aggressively shoves him backwards and places him into handcuffs.
What did I tell you about getting up on me? I wasn't. I was just trying to tell you something that I could prove that I was telling. What did I tell you about getting up on me? I'm sorry, I didn't. You want to be a I'm sorry. You better shut your mouth.
Hey, that destroys the stuff right there, right?
What?
I said by him swearing at the man like that, that just put, he was more aggressive at that point.
Well, he's a rookie, and so he's doing overkill. He doesn't know how much aggression to show yet. That comes with experience, and so this dude is not showing. He's not aggressive at all. The suspect, but this dude has some type of, I need to assert or show my dominance as a police officer. So he's on that, and he's by himself. So he's not shadowing. So he's a rookie, like by himself now. Then took the chains off of him. So,
hey, Kev, with you saying that as a rookie, do they have a law where they should be called for backup in a situation like all the veterans, they try to keep you in the car and call for backup for like 1 or 2 cars that come, and then everything start happening. Should he call for backup, or he cool just being a rookie one-on-one on his own?
Well, he felt that he obviously feels that if he just gets a little more aggressive, he can handle the situation, which is why he didn't do it. And he know the dude didn't really do anything. This right here, to me, is him practicing him being aggressive at a stop in case he really has to do it on somebody for real. That's kind of what it seemed like to me. He practiced.
Hey, Kev, he's practicing on the Caucasian so he can get prepared for a brother.
He the nigga. He really, I got it. Shit, if I can do it on a white man, I can definitely do it on a nigga. So, but let's see. Let's keep watching.
Right there. And you move from there, and I'm gonna ride you. You understand? I don't know who you think. Look at me. Who you think you are? Where you from? Where you got some cops like that? You gonna fix your mind. I dare you move from there. I've been feeling so small. Watch. First of all, I have to prove why I pulled you over. You didn't even let.
I want y'all to listen to I want you to listen to what this cop said. Now this is where we about to get into the shit. Here we go.
Yeah, you move from there. I have to prove why I pulled you over. You didn't even let me do that. I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up.
Now you heard what the officer said?
You gotta prove why I pulled you over.
He just admitted that he didn't have a reason to pull him over.
He forgot the camels on.
He said, I have to prove why I pulled you. What, he about to get deeper into it? Why?
I have to prove why I pulled you over. You didn't even let me do that. I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up. That's your problem right there. How old are you? If you're nervous for what? What did you do? Right. So what are you nervous about? How do you think I feel? I'm out here by myself. I don't know if you got a gun in there. And then I walk up on you and you jump me all verbally. I'm 37, sir. Okay, we're the same age. Man to man, why would you talk to another grown man like the way you did? I just asked you why you pulled me over. I was going to tell you. You know, by law, we have to tell you why we're pulling you over because I can't.
Are you serious?
Why would you talk to another grown man like the way you did? I just asked you why you pulled me over. I was going to tell you. You know, by law, we have to tell you why we're pulling you over because I can't impede on your civil liberty.
Officer Mercado.
So he says, I can't impede on your civil liberties. By law. Now, it seems like oxymoronical, because if all I did was ask you why you pulled me over, why the hell are you getting so damn pissed off if you were going to tell me why you pulled me over in the first place? All you had to do is just answer my question. Why you pulled me over?
He a rookie.
Yes, he's a rookie. So again, he's not good at cop-splaining yet either. When he done fucked up, you know, cop-splaining the suspect or the citizen into agreeing with the fact that the citizen fucked up, which is why you getting mangled. You got mangled because you did something wrong. Now you agree with me, right? So he don't know well enough to.
He haven't learned their way.
Let me finish speaking, nigga. He doesn't know well enough to kind of convince this dude yet. As we get into the thing, he's been on the job a week. The cop has been on the job, which means he's been in the patrol unit by himself for a week. When you first get with the police officer, they put you in you're in a blue shirt, which means you're a cadet, or like you're a trainee officer. So he's out of that. He's in the patrol thing 1 week. Overdoing it. He's overkill right now. Now he tells this dude, or the dude says, well, why you talking crazy to me like that? What do you mean? I just asked you why you pulled me over. Well, you didn't let me answer. What do you mean I didn't let you answer? What other question would I ask after that? Well, by law, I have to tell you why I pulled you over. I can't impede upon your civil right, your civil liberties, is what he said. So now, what he kind of doing again is kind of cop-splaining. But he's not good at it at all. He's not good at it at all. But what he did do is just drop the bomb and killed himself on camera. Because he's a rookie, he didn't know not to say that on camera. And then what did he do before telling the dude why he pulled him over? Now y'all can see. What did he do?
He was saying about, I can't impede on your civil liberties.
No. What did he do before he told the dude why he pulled him over?
He asked for his ID.
Right. He violated the dude's rights first, and then told him, and then was able to do it. So he did it backwards. So now he's trying to clean up everything on camera. But here we go. This is where we're about to get into it. Me and Audit the Audit. We about to get into it.
Claims that he is lawfully obligated to tell Mr. Finley.
Can't impede on your civil liberty.
Officer Mercado claims that he is lawfully obligated to tell Mr. Finley why he stopped him. However, while police officers must have reasonable suspicion to initiate a traffic stop, they do not have to inform citizens of why they have been stopped during the traffic stop, although it may be a police department's policy to do so. In fact, the Supreme Court has repeatedly held that a police officer's subjective reasons for initiating a traffic stop should not be taken into account when determining the reasonableness of a stop for Fourth Amendment purposes. For example,
now, again, this is not what happened, but let's listen.
In the 1973 case of United States versus Robinson, the court held that a traffic violation arrest was valid despite the fact that it was, quote, a mere pretext for a narcotics search.
First of all, 1973, did y'all read what that said? Did you hear what he said?
That case deal with narcotics. This dude ain't got.
But the letter, I just want y'all to understand, the letter of the law is extremely important. Yo, mute your phone when I'm talking, guys, so we don't pick up stuff in the background or when the video is going. So the letter of the law is extremely important. It's the most important thing. Because if what you're saying doesn't match up with the letter of the law, then what do the two things have? What do you need to be able to make things move?
Right and correct.
Right and correct. Right meaning you have to be morally, your argument needs to be morally right, but, you know, or philosophically right. But it has to match up with the letter of the law, what's in the law. If what you're saying doesn't match up with what's in the letter of the law, they don't give a fuck about what you're saying. Period. So this dude is not, he's not reading the letter of the law properly. So I'm going to go back and I want y'all to understand why you need to pay attention to detail and why this dude, I don't know why this dude thinks what he thinks, but I'm going to let him go off of this. I'm going to let him go over these cases at first, and then we're going to go back over the case.
1973 case of United States versus Robinson, the court held that a traffic violation arrest was valid despite the fact that it was, quote, a mere pretext for a narcotics search. And in the 1978 case of Scott versus United States, the court explained that, quote, subjective intent alone does not make otherwise lawful conduct illegal or unconstitutional. After summarizing these cases, as well as other relevant precedent, the court concluded in the 1996 case of Wren versus United States that, quote, we think these cases foreclose any argument that the constitutional reasonableness of traffic stops depends on the actual motivations of the individual officers involved. Subjective intentions play no role in ordinary probable cause Fourth Amendment analysis. Additionally, in the 2014 case of Hine versus North Carolina, the court expanded this principle to uphold a traffic stop where the officer was mistaken about whether driving with one brake light out violated the law, holding that reasonable suspicion can, quote, rest on a mistaken understanding of the scope of a legal prohibition, and that, quote, because the officer's mistake about the brake light law was reasonable, the stop in this case was lawful under the Fourth Amendment. In other words, not only are officers not required to inform citizens of the reason for a traffic stop, a stop will still be considered constitutional as long as there is an objectively reasonable suspicion to justify it, even if the officer did not.
Now, at any point in time, in those cases, did you hear it say that a police officer does not have to tell you why they pulled you over?
Negative.
No.
Nope.
That was his conjecture.
All right, hold on. We're going to go over this shit again. Let's go back over this.
Fact that it was stopped for Fourth Amendment purposes. For example, in the 1973 case of United States versus Robinson, the court held that a traffic violation arrest was valid despite the fact that it was, quote, a mere pretext for a narcotics search.
What's the first thing he just said right there? They ruled that a what was valid?
Search. Pretextual search.
Hey, let's hear it again.
1973 case of United States versus Robinson, the court held that a traffic violation arrest was valid despite the fact.
A what?
Narcotic.
No.
Traffic violation arrest.
Who said narcotic? God
Me.
damn,
Narcotic.
Get the sugar daddy out your ear. I said, what did he just say?
Traffic violation.
Traffic violation.
A traffic violation arrest. So what would that mean at first?
Did he committed some type of traffic
He
infraction?
committed some type of goddamn violation first. he had to break the law first. So let's keep listening.
That it was, quote, a mere pretext for a narcotics search. And in the 1978 case of Scott versus United States, the court explained that, quote, subjective intent alone does not make otherwise lawful conduct illegal or
unconstitutional. What does that say right there? Again, reading to the letter of the law. Subjective intent alone does not make otherwise lawful conduct illegal or unconstitutional. Otherwise lawful, which means I can want to pull you over because I think you a drug dealer, but if I stop you because you got something dangling from your rearview mirror and that's against the law, then me wanting to stop you because I think you a drug dealer does not make the dangling from the mirror thing unlawful or unconstitutional. That's all that means. It still means I had to have a lawful reason for pulling you over in the first place. Again, let's keep going.
Constitutional. After summarizing these cases, as well as other relevant precedent, the court concluded in the 1996 case of Wren versus United States that, quote, we think these cases foreclose any argument that the constitutional reasonableness of traffic stops depends on the actual motivations of the individual officers involved. So
Okay, again, we think these cases foreclose any argument that the constitutional reasonableness of traffic stops depends on the actual motivations of the individual involved. Subjective intentions play no role in ordinary probable cause Fourth Amendment analysis. What is that saying? Does that say that the police officer doesn't have to tell you why he pulled you over?
No.
What is it saying? Do y'all understand what this is saying? Again, let's go over it. We think these cases foreclose any argument that the constitutional reasonableness of traffic stops depends on the actual motivations, depends on the actual motivations of the individual officers involved. Subjective intention, subjective means whatever you think about yourself, whatever you're thinking to your subjective means whatever you're thinking. Subjective intentions play no role in ordinary probable cause Fourth Amendment analysis. All it means, all it's saying is it doesn't matter why you want to pull the cop, why you want to pull him over. As long as it's a lawful, as long as you pull him over for a lawful reason. That's all it says. It didn't say at all that the officer does not have to tell the police, tell the citizen why he pulled him over. If that was the case, the police officer would just be able to pull over any goddamn body and make up some shit later. If what he was saying was correct, he'd be able to pull over any goddamn body. Why you pull me over? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then boom, when I fill out the ticket, the report, I just put it down in the report, some bullshit in the report to make it lawful. That would be absolutely insane. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Kid, you just reminded me of those old movies, like when people drive down south and the sheriff or boss hog pull them over and he said, "Why you pulled me over for?" And he take out the nightstick and bust the tail light. They say,
yeah, exactly. And bust the tail light. Say, yeah, bust the tail light. Exactly. That's why they can't do that. Let's keep going though, because he keep talking shit. Let's keep it.
Subjective intentions play no role in the actual motivations of the individual officers involved. Subjective intentions play no role in ordinary probable cause Fourth Amendment analysis. Additionally, in the 2014 case of Hine versus North Carolina, the court expanded this principle to uphold a traffic stop where the officer was mistaken about whether driving with one brake light out violated the law, holding that reasonable suspicion can, quote, rest on a mistaken understanding of the scope of a legal prohibition, and that, quote, because the officer's mistake about the brake light law was reasonable, out violated the law, holding that reasonable suspicion can, quote, rest on a mistaken understanding of the scope of a legal.
Reasonable suspicion can rest on a mistaken understanding of the scope of a legal prohibition. What does that mean? Can anybody infer or interpret what that means? Not infer, but interpret.
Yeah, although that he may be mistaken about the fact that the license plate and light brake was out, or the law that applied to that was mistaken, he still has a right to pull you over or could pull you over.
Yes. That's all it's saying. So let's keep it going.
And that, quote, because suspicion can, quote, rest on a mistaken understanding of the scope of a legal prohibition. And that, quote, because the officer's mistake about the brake light law was reasonable, the stop in this case was lawful under the Fourth Amendment.
But he still stopped him because he thought he was stopping him for a lawful reason. He still had to have a lawful reason for stopping him. Even if the reason was mistaken, the law that he was enforcing was mistaken, he misinterpreted the law, he still had to tell him, there still had to be a lawful reason for why he did it. They cannot just pull you over for any goddamn thing. Now, let's see why. Where is let's see why they can't do that. Because he left out the most important case of all. He was citing cases that actually came before this case, which would have made those cases either weakened those cases or nullified those cases. With this case, if the damn notes come up. on, man. You know what? This is taking too damn long. I'll just go. To another website. Oops. So let's look at this case. This is Delaware versus Prouse. And I want all of y'all to get, anybody who's serious about the law, y'all need to get familiar with this case. Where is it, Justin? All right. So here we go. Who wants to read this for me? Who's a good reader?
Where you want to start?
Right at the top.
All right. A patrolman in a police cruiser stopped an automobile occupied by respondent and sees, I guess that's supposed to say marijuana, in plain view of the car floor. Respondent was subsequently indicted for illegal possession of a controlled substance. At a hearing on respondent's motion to suppress the marijuana, the patrolman testified that prior to stopping the vehicle, he had observed neither traffic or equipment violations nor any suspicious activity, and that he made the stop only in order to check the driver's license and the car's registration. The patrolman was not acting pursuant to any standards, guidelines, or procedures pertaining to document spot checks promulgated by either his department or the state attorney general. The trial court granted the motion to suppress, finding the stop and detention to have been wholly capricious and therefore violative of the Fourth Amendment. The Delaware Supreme Court affirmed. Did you want me to keep going? Or?
Again, I heard y'all. Excuse me. Yeah, let's keep going. Right, yeah, right there. Yep, right at the top.
Okay. At number one, right?
Yep.
This court has jurisdiction in this case, even though the Delaware Supreme Court held that the stop at issue not only violated the federal constitution, but also was impermissible under the Delaware Constitution. The court's opinion shows that even if the state constitution would have provided an adequate basis for the judgment below, the court did not intend to rest its decision independently on the state constitution. Its holding instead depending upon its view of the reach of the Fourth and 14th Amendments.
Keep going.
2, except where there is at least articulable and reasonable suspicion that a motorist is unlicensed, or that the automobile is not registered, or that either the vehicle or an occupant is otherwise subject to seizure for violation of law, stopping an automobile and detaining the driver in order to check the driver's license and the registration of the automobile are unreasonable under the Fourth Amendment.
What did that just say? Did y'all niggas hear that? Bitch ass audit the audit, nigga.
Unreasonable.
Yeah, unreasonable.
Audit the audit, nigga. I hate this nigga because he been saying that shit for he been saying that shit for like years. But he don't never read this case. Again, let's get it a little more clear. Except where there is at least articulable and reasonable suspicion that a motorist is unlicensed, or that an automobile is not registered, or that either the vehicle or an occupant is otherwise subject to seizure for violation of law, meaning that you've broken, anybody in the car has broken some type of law, and you know that beforehand. Stopping an automobile and detaining the driver in order to check his driver's license and the registration of the automobile are unreasonable under the Fourth Amendment. It is a Fourth Amendment violation for them to stop you for no goddamn reason. They have to have a reason, and they have to tell you the damn reason. Stopping an automobile and detaining its occupants constitute a seizure within the meaning of the Fourth and 15th, excuse me, the 4th and 14th Amendments. Even though the purpose of the stop is limited and the resulting detention quite brief, the permissibility of a particular law enforcement practice is judged by balancing its intrusion on the individual's Fourth Amendment interest against its promotion of legitimate governmental interest. Check this out. The state's interest in discretionary spot checks, because this is what it was coming to, discretionary interest in spot checks as a means of ensuring the safety of its roadways does not outweigh the resulting intrusion on the privacy and security of the persons detained, given the physical and psychological intrusion visited upon the occupants of a vehicle by a random stop to check documents. And this is the cases that support all of this. The marginal contribution to roadway safety possibly resulting from a system of spot checks cannot justify subjecting every occupant of every vehicle on the roads to a seizure at the unbridled discretion of law enforcement. An individual operating or traveling in an automobile does not lose all reasonable expectation of privacy simply because the automobile and its use are subject to government regulation. People are not shorn of all the Fourth Amendment protection when they step away from their homes onto the public sidewalk, nor are they shorn of those interests when they step from the sidewalks into their automobiles. Motherfuckers. Did we read that? Is everybody clear on that?
Clear.
Crystal.
Clear.
And just so we're clear one more time. I want to read this one more time right here. This is the main one. Except where there is at least reasonable and articulable suspicion that a motorist is unlicensed, or that an automobile is not registered, or that either the vehicle or an occupant is otherwise subject to seizure for violation of law, stopping an automobile and detaining the driver in order to check his driver's license and the registration of the automobile are unreasonable under the Fourth Amendment.
Hey, Kev, could you read number 1 again real quick?
Yeah, this is the court talking. This court has jurisdiction in this case, even though the Delaware Supreme Court held that the stop, so this is talking the Supreme Court talking. This court has jurisdiction in this case, even though the Delaware Supreme Court held that the stop at issue not only violated the federal constitution, but also was impermissible under the Delaware Constitution. That court's opinion shows that even if the state constitution would have provided an adequate basis for the judgment below, the court did not intend to rest its decision independently on the state constitution. It's holding instead, depending on its view of the reach of the Fourth Amendment, the Fourth and the Fourth Amendments.
So the Supreme Court was just superseding over the
Delaware. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
They're just letting you know, like, nigga, we're the big dogs in this case. Even though the Delaware Supreme Court, they said the same shit. We got this ballers in our court right now, homie. Y'all go back to the black tops. We in the big leagues. we in the stadium. We in Staples Center. Y'all go back to the park.
Y'all go back to the minors.
Hey, Kev, can I ask you another quick question dealing with this? So you oh man, I think it's Pennsylvania versus Tompkins. I could be wrong, but that was the Supreme case in which the guy got hurt on a railroad track, and before they had the Supreme
Erie Railroad versus Tompkins,
right? Before they said that you can sue the railroad, they was responsible for you getting hurt, and then did they overrule that, or they changed the law and came up saying that now the railroad, now you don't have the right to sue the railroad?
No, I don't think Erie. You talking about Tompkins versus Erie, Pennsylvania Railroad? I think that's No, I don't think that's been overruled.
Okay, all right, okay. I'll come back in the next one. I have everything written down to ask you. Thank you.
Okay. Let's keep going. Is this the one? Yeah.
Words, not only are officers not violated the law, holding that reasonable suspicion can, quote, rest on a mistaken understanding of the scope of a legal prohibition, and that, quote, because the officer's mistake about the brake light law was reasonable, the stop in this case was lawful under the Fourth Amendment. In other words, not only are officers not required to inform citizens of the reason for a traffic stop, a stop will still be considered constitutional as long as there is an objectively reasonable suspicion to justify it, even if the officer did not initiate the stop for that reason, or is mistaken about what the law actually prohibits.
But you didn't let me. You become hostile and aggressive. Yes, you did. Say one word. I just said, why you pulled me over? Sir, it's how you say things. Sorry. You should be. But you're getting ready to go to jail. Is there anything in here I need to know about? For what? For one, didn't I tell you not to get up on me like that? That's the talk. Stood there, sir. No, you got up on me, sir. I told you don't get up on me. Is there anything in this vehicle you need to know about? I need to know about? Yeah, I need my phone. You don't need it right now. I've got something to do, sir. I didn't. You got to sit right there. That's what you got to do. Adam, my name is Matthew, and this is all being recorded. Yeah. I'm gonna let you go, but you understand I could get you productive.
I want you to go back to something, because when he was reading those cases, he said that from these cases we can infer that they meant that the police officer doesn't have to tell you why they pulled you over. There's a word called interpret and infer. What does the court do to law?
Interpret the law.
Interpret the law.
Interpret, not infer, right? So right. Interpret, the difference between the two words. Interpret means to stretch out, to expand on, right? So it's whatever's there. I'm not creating anything that's there. It's all there. I'm just expanding it, stretching it out, breaking it down. Let's see how far it can go, what else it can cover. So there's a maxim of law that states that the law leaves much room for interpretation. So that means if you find something in the law that if it says a certain thing, even if it's been applied to one thing contextually before, if you can make a court or judge see it, if you see it another way, applying some other way to your situation, and you can make the court see that, then you can win. So basically, we didn't mean this when we created it, but if you see it another way and you can make it apply to your situation, then we've stretched that meaning to this too. And then we can apply it over here and apply it over. That's all that means when they interpret. Okay, well, we see what you're saying, so we can take that law and we can cover that. We can cover that with this law. We see what you're saying. We can take that and cover that with this law. But to infer means to carry. When you have to carry something, it doesn't have legs of its own. It can't stand on its own. It's not strong enough it's not powerful enough to carry to stand on its own. So it has to be carried. It's weak. When you're inferring from something, you're inferring from some weak ass ground, from bits and pieces that are not there, that you're coming up with some type of conclusion from things that are not there. It's far weaker than an interpretation. So again, you don't infer from the law, you interpret.
Obstruction for government operations. Just listen to me now. Assaulting a peace officer. I should take you to jail right now. All right. Let me tell you something. When you come in contact with an officer, let them tell you why. Don't just start. What are you doing? I was just confused. I'm going to alleviate all. Now, you put yourself in my shoes, sir. You're a police officer. Yes, sir. That's my property right there. I'm supposed to watch. Are you in a marked vehicle that says railroad? And where's your plates from? No. So now could you see where I'd be suspicious of what you were doing over there? Okay.
Officer Mercado explains that he was suspicious of Mr. Finley because he was driving an unmarked truck on railroad property. If Mr. Finley was not an employee, his presence on railroad property could violate Section 5-39-203 of the Arkansas Code, which states that an individual commits criminal trespass if they purposely enter or remain unlawfully in or upon the premises owned or leased by another person or a critical infrastructure, which, according to Section 5-38-101 of the Arkansas Code, includes railroad property that is, quote, either completely enclosed by a fence or other physical barrier that is designed to exclude persons without permission to be in the facility, or otherwise is clearly marked with signs that are reasonably likely to be seen by another person that indicate entry or unauthorized access is forbidden without facility authorization. Even though Mr. Finley was authorized to be on the property in the scope of his employment, because there was no obvious indication from his vehicle that Mr. Finley was a railway employee, it is likely that Officer Mercado had the necessary reasonable suspicion to initiate the traffic stop. As the Supreme Court explained in the Red case, quote, a search or seizure may be permissible, even though the justification for the action includes a reasonable factual mistake. An officer might, for example, stop a motorist for traveling alone in a high occupancy vehicle lane, only to discover upon approaching the car that 2 children are slumped over asleep in the back seat. The driver has not violated the law, but neither has the officer violated the Fourth Amendment. Given this standard, if Officer Finley was mistaken as to whether Mr. Finley was a railroad employee, stopping him to investigate the situation would likely be constitutional. However, the court would probably conclude that once it became clear that Mr. Finley was a railroad employee, his continued detention was not justified.
Yeah. And then when I make contact with you, you're aggressive and hostile with me verbally. And well, I mean, I didn't mean that. Turn around.
Officer Mercado uncuffs Mr. Finley, and after threatening to tase Mr. Finley and take him to jail, the two eventually shook hands and went their separate ways without further incident. Later that day, Mr. Finley met with Walnut Ridge Police Chief Chris Kirksey and Sergeant Matt Cook to discuss Officer Mercado's conduct and file a formal complaint.
My name's Chief Chris Kirksey. What's your other fellow's name? That's just Carter. Be Officer Matthew McCarter. Yeah. What I saw is you want to keep a 6 foot distance. Well, he should have stepped back away from me because I couldn't go anywhere, sir. You seen it? I've got the whole entire video. Good.
Can we watch it?
Can we
watch it? Can I watch it?
Yeah. You have to do it for you on it.
What?
Freedom of Information Act on it.
This is Strive Biltong. Biltong is a South African style beef jerky. Strive offers biltong in a traditional slab, delicious pre-sliced snack bag, and my personal favorite.
From what I saw, he's lucky he didn't go to jail.
For what?
Obstruction of justice.
What do you do?
Interfered with law enforcement officers' investigation.
How do you do that?
How do you do that?
Yeah.
So when you watch the video, you'll find out. I just got off the phone with the prosecuting attorney and explained to him exactly what happened in this situation. And he advised me that you written citation both for obstructing the governmental operation and refusal to submit to arrest. So you will be written those citations right now.
When Mr. Finley attempts to file a complaint with the Walnut Ridge PD about Officer Mercado's behavior, he is interrogated by Officer Matt Cook and Chief Chris Kirksey, and eventually issued citations for obstructing government operations and refusing to submit to arrest, even though Officer Mercado originally chose not to write any tickets following the encounter. There are no legal limitations that prevent officers from issuing citations or arresting individuals after they originally decided not to, and in cases involving criminal offenses rather than mere traffic violations, officers often wait to arrest an individual to file charges in order to investigate further. However, while there is no legal issue with the delay in issuing the citations, the validity of the charges themselves is highly suspect. According to Section 5-54-102 of the Arkansas Code, the offense of obstructing governmental operations occurs if an individual, quote, knowingly obstructs, impairs, or hinders the performance of any governmental function, which Section 5-54-101 defines as, quote, any activity that a public servant is legally authorized to undertake on behalf behalf of any governmental unit he or she serves. The statute also clarifies that, quote, this section does not apply to refusal to submit to arrest, any means of avoiding compliance with the law not involving affirmative interference with a governmental function, or obstruction, impairment, or hindrance of what a person reasonably believes is a public servant's unlawful action. Similarly, under Section 5-54-103 of the Arkansas Code, an individual commits the offense of resisting arrest if they, quote, knowingly resist a person known to be a law enforcement officer effecting an arrest. As used in this subsection, resists means using or threatening to use physical force or any other means that creates a substantial risk of physical injury to any person. While it is
So usually that means backing away from a police officer is not what?
Obstruction.
Or from the definition of resisting,
It's not resisting.
they'll try to tell you that it is. Resisting is a physical act, is a violent act. So that's why you don't when you start pulling your arms away and all that type of stuff. But see, if you're just backing away from them with your arms in the air, you are walking in a circle, you know, you got to back away, but you walking in a circle while you're trying to get some clarity on some law, that's not necessarily resisting arrest. Now they may tackle you and shit.
Hey, Kev, so they can arrest you after the fact?
Yeah, you never got a ticket after a traffic stop. You never got a ticket in the mail.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, okay.
They're not arresting him. They're giving him a ticket.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they just citing him. But yeah, they can arrest you after the fact too. If the police officer, arresting officer, has firsthand knowledge that you committed a crime.
So Kev, he could arrest him if he didn't arrest him that time earlier?
Yeah.
How is that?
Because he can deem, again, it's police discretion. The fact that he let him go right then was just his discretion. They can still deem it a crime and charge him with it.
So what's the time range?
Well, it depends on your state. Statute of limitation. It depends on your state. So everybody, you need to search your state, but I think
so Kev, if the guy that was who went to see his superior, if he never went, he would have never got arrested.
Yeah, if you mean a ticket? This dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he never went to go make a complaint, yeah, they would have never. Yeah, they would never. But wait, watch what happened. He should have went and made the complaint. Because watch what happened.
Here, which of Mr. Finley's actions were alleged to be obstructing and resisting, none of the behavior that was captured in the body cam footage appears to rise to the level of either of these offenses.
This will be taken into account. You right? You'll be going to court. Oh, okay. That's fine. So this will be taken into account. There'll be an internal investigation, but of what was seen on camera, and I talked to the prosecuting attorney just now got off the phone with him. He told me to have you written those citations. Okay, your driver's license. So I need a ticket for something?
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
After being issued the citations, Mr. Finley chose to fight the charges, and on April 3rd, 2017, he was acquitted of all charges by the District Court of Lawrence County, Arkansas. On April 5th, 2018, Mr. Finley filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city, Officer Mercado, Officer Cook, and Chief Kirksey. The case was settled later that month, with Mr. Finley receiving a $57,500 settlement. This incident also sparked another lawsuit from Fort Smith, Arkansas residents William Whitfield Hyman and Natalie Hyman after their posts on the Walnut Ridge PD's Facebook page that included links to this body camera footage were deleted. The Hymans' lawsuit alleged that this violated the First Amendment, and the case was eventually settled. Overall, Officer
See, people be winning.
That's nice.
Y'all just don't. I mean, you gotta go out there and charge them. If you don't do it, then that's why they get away with it, because you let them get away with that shit. But again, this dude was detained for how long? All of what? Maybe 5 to 10 minutes? Got 53 grand. How much? 50-something grand? I say all in all, a good day.
Yep, 57 grand, 57K.
57 stacks. That's a pretty good day, like Ice Cube said. The day was a good day.
I wonder if his hero is DeSoto.
Oh, Lopez.
Lopez DeSoto.
The Hall of Famer. Lopez Soto created the Hall of Fame. Oh, we saw this before, but I want y'all to see this real quick. Hey, if y'all ain't seen this, go watch this damn video. I was talking about this in the live stream yesterday. I couldn't find it, but somebody found it for me and sent it to me. September Clues. This is a video about the CGI of 9/11. Did I click on that? Oh, yeah, I did. I ain't about to watch that.
See, can you see? Are you on the north side there where the plane made contact?
Yes, I am.
There where the plane made contact.
But I'd say the hold is, let me just get a better look right now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd say the hold takes about, looks like 6, 7 floors were taken out. And there's more explosions right now. Hold on, people are running.
Hold on just a moment. We got an explosion inside.
Sorry, y'all gotta watch that. That shit is crazy.
Okay.
What's going on?
All right. I forgot we was live. We live on YouTube. So that's September Clues. That breaks down the CGI, how they did 9/11, the TV, that was CGI, how they had to synchronize it with all the news channels, and how some of the news channels they blacked out at certain times. It was crazy. They coordinated this whole goddamn thing. That video breaks the whole damn. I would advise somebody to, if you're looking at it, to download it if you can, because they may take that shit off because it's really dropping some bombs.
Kev, I gotta thank you too for doing that video yesterday, because out of everything that was going on, people still don't realize it's 20.
Next time you see this plant in your backyard, don't cut it down.
Also, damn it. What you say, number?
Now, I was just thanking you for doing the video yesterday, because people still don't realize
You're certainly committing a crime.
It's 20 years later, and they bringing an enemy to the homeland.
Yep. Man, it is dude, it is going down right now. This is like they run these things in cycles. These little world takeover plans. Every 20 years you get some major shit happening.
And they're handing out checks to them. $2,200 a month.
Handing out checks to
the Afghanis that come.
Oh, and they don't gotta get V'd.
They don't?
Nah, they don't gotta get hokied up.
Oh man. You crazy. You crazy.
Or the people coming walking over the border from Mexico. They don't gotta get hokied either.
What's wrong with the commander in chief? See, that's why I tell people that's why they de facto. They not for the people.
But wait, y'all should go to Fox News and look up the video where the reporter is asking the White House reporter, the news reporter. She said, so he was like, wait a minute, so why? He said, so why don't if Biden is issuing these mandates, then why don't the immigrants crossing the border have to get vaccinated? And then she said, that's correct. Next question. She said that's correct. Next question, and skip that nigga. And he didn't jump on her. I would have been like, nah, you ain't about to go past this, homegirl. What you doing? We ain't moving at all till you answer that question. That was not an answer. That's correct is not an answer. Why don't the immigrants have to get hokied up? Then why don't they got to get the jabby jab? But he let that go. But hold on, man. This ain't the video I wanted to show y'all though.
struggled and rolled for a little bit. I see that. Yeah.
You guys are okay?
Yep, we're good.
You're a little muddy, dude. I think we're doing
A little bloody, a little muddy, that's all it works.
Is the blood on her?
Yeah.
That's our blood.
Do you think she's more than 46?
She did. She told her. Yeah, I'm a little worried that, like,
we watched this video before, but this is the conclusion to what happened. But also, I want you, this is some behind the scenes stuff. They're going to show you of what happened, how police officers try to hide information and body cam information and leave stuff out of their reports. So this is kind of a behind the scenes look at how these niggas get out of trouble, the little tactics they use to get out of trouble.
If Chief Tizer resigns or is fired in the next 30 days, I will donate $50,000 of my own money to any dementia or Alzheimer's charity of his choice.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. In early spring of 2021, I featured the arrest of 73-year-old Karen Garner that took place in June of 2020. Garner, who suffers from dementia and sensory aphasia, was accused of stealing from a Walmart. Officer Hop was the first to respond.
All right, let's stop, ma'am. I don't think you want to play it this way. Ma'am, please stop. You want to stop with lights on, siren? Stop. You just left Walmart. Do you need to be arrested right now? No. Okay.
That full video can be viewed here. Officer Hop arrested her by throwing her 80-pound body on the ground, causing several scrapes and dislocating her shoulder. Officer Jalali arrived next. And
the ill thing about this was, if anybody remembers the video, she didn't even steal anything. Do y'all remember this?
Yeah, I remember it.
Walking out, and the store stopped her and took it from her. And so she just left. And so she didn't have anything. She was walking out with it, but the store employee stopped her outside the store and grabbed her from her. So she didn't really have anything. But they called the police anyway. Like, if you took it back from her, why would you call the police on this old lady who's obviously not all there?
Thank you.
Like, come on, man.
assisted in brutalizing Miss Garner. Sergeant Metzler was the last officer on scene and assisted in restraining her. Afterwards, the sergeant acknowledged that the blood on his officers was Miss Garner's, but failed to provide medical attention against the department's policy regarding both use of force and provision of medical care to anyone with visible injury.
We struggled and rolled for a little bit.
I see that.
Yeah.
You guys are okay?
Yep, we're good.
You're a little muddy, dude. I think we're doing
A little bloody, a little muddy, that's how it works.
Is the blood on her?
Yeah, that's our blood.
Sergeant Metzler later claimed that this arrest and subsequent use of force was within policy and that the minor force that was used was reasonable and appropriate for the situation. When Metzler's report was reviewed by a lieutenant, he questioned why the body cam footage wasn't submitted. More on that later. Metzler then met with a bystander that was expressing his concern over the amount of force used, but the body cam footage of this conversation was never discovered to Sarah Shelke, Miss Garner's lawyer. Loveland PD eventually gave Sergeant Metzler's body cam footage to Sarah, but that conversation was never provided. In fact, the video they handed over was from a completely different incident. Sarah dug into the body cam audit log to figure out what happened to that video, and what she found is that Sergeant Metzler started his body cam recording at 16:48, using the camera event button, ensuring that it wouldn't include the 30 seconds of muted audio. He stopped the recording 4 minutes later, but didn't upload that video until 5 days after the arrest. He also failed to write a report for his involvement in the use of force. Then, on July 15th, almost a month after the incident, Loveland Police Department's evidence tech prepared to distribute the body cam footage for discovery. As Miss Garner was now suing, this prompted Metzler to return to the computers and watch the video I'm about to show you. After watching it, he adds the correct case number to the video, as it has been mysteriously unassigned up to this point. But 2 hours later, Around 2 o'clock in the morning, Sergeant Metzler changes his mind and manually changes the case number associated with the Garner video. Assigned.
So do you see what's going on?
They could flim and put anything they want.
So they can hide the video footage by just changing the number on it. So how it goes is you have cases and incidents. Cases last longer, right? So incident videos get deleted after a certain amount of time if you mark it incident video. If it's a case video, they have to hold on to it indefinitely until the case gets solved or some other thing comes up. So he marks it off as an incident video so that it gets deleted. And so he had marked it off at first as an incident video. So then he was like, when they got the case against him, he was like, oh shit, they're gonna ask for this footage. I better go change it back. So he went and changed it back to the right one. But then he started getting scared. He was like, oh shit, I really broke this lady arm. Let me go change this shit back to incident. Let me go put some other random number on this shit so it get buried, so they don't find this shit.
Into an incorrect case and adding extra, as it has been mysteriously unassigned up to this point. But 2 hours later, around 2 o'clock in the morning, Sergeant Metzler changes his mind and manually changes the case number associated with the Garner video, assigning it to an incorrect case and adding extra numbers to it, almost ensuring that the video would never be found. He also changes the classification of the video from a case file to an incident file. Case files aren't deleted for 10 years, and changing that classification to an incident would ensure the video's deletion by June of 2021. Finally, on July 20th, 2020, 9 videos were provided to Sarah Shelke. But as mentioned before, Sergeant Metzler's video was from a completely different incident. Here is the...
My wife got me these underwear as a gag.
Here is the video Sergeant Metzler was attempting to hide.
My carpet, and then I see the lady, I think was a kid, and I see her walking, and then I see him throwing it to the ground. That person wasn't even running or anything. I was like, that's not okay,
Yeah.
So that's why I came and I'm like, hey, that's not the way to react. But he said that she was running or whatever, which we didn't see it that way. That way.
Do you know who she is?
No.
Do you know where she's coming from?
No.
Do you know what crime she's committed?
I just see her coming.
Do you know what crime she's committed?
But I just see him walking right there.
I'm just asking you.
No,
do you know any of the story?
No.
So all you did was just take a.
So how do you avoid the police officer from manipulating the body cam footage?
Have your own camera.
You goddamn right. There you go. You cannot rely on their footage. You will never get it. And this is now you're starting to see some of the reasons people don't get the body cam footage. When there's a killing, there's a killing of a young brother in the hood, or some crazy incident where he gets beat down, and they say, oh, we don't have the body cam footage yet. This is probably one of the reasons why. They hide it within the logs so that no one knows where it is. You know how much body cam footage there has to be? Like every day.
Mm-hmm.
Hours and hours of footage from each cop a day. It's probably so easy to hide that shit. So
Kev, they gotta upload it to the cloud or something. They gotta have some kind of cybersecurity that's in charge of that, right?
We would want and think. Nigga, you kind of optimistic there, ain't you, buddy?
So you trying to say it's on the officer's own discretion? They just delete?
Man, usually when they go in, I think, and I know at some of the precincts, they were talking about this one brother, or this one Caucasian dude, they had just subpoenaed his body cam footage for 6 months. Like not even a year. They subpoenaed his body cam footage for 6 months. And they showed him, they showed like 30-something people he had violated, or rights they had violated. And the cop had put the video footage, it wasn't, that's what I'm saying, it wasn't up on the iCloud. Whatever he did, the SIM or whatever they did, they put it in some type of box, or it was some type of category within the precinct where it was marked unimportant, where the footage was marked unimportant. So it was marked for deletion, just like Homeboy was saying. So they mark it to get deleted. But what they're not supposed to do that, if there's some footage on there where they're violating somebody's rights, that's not supposed to happen. They're supposed to submit that, and they're supposed to report if some type of crazy incident went down, because if it is, then that footage is marked to keep in case you get a case, because that also may help because if somebody comes back and they want to sue the city, then that footage may help the city to save some money. So he's supposed to save that. But it showed that this dude had violated 30-something people. He had like egregiously, like robbing them, beating them down. Just violating their rights in all kind of ways. 30-something people in 6 months. And they were like, we were scared to see what was going to happen on the next, we'd subpoenaed a whole year. We showed that video. I showed y'all the video in here. People who've been in here a long time, y'all should remember that. But so this is what they're trying to hide. This dude had pulled over to the side and gave the cop shit for basically manhandling this little 70-some-year-old woman, 80-pound woman. And he tried to cop-splain to the dude, which they always do, cop-splaining. We're not in the wrong. You just don't know what you're talking about because you're a regular citizen. You can't possibly know the law like I know the law because I have a badge and gun and I'm authorized by the government. So let me just explain to you how you're wrong. So that's what he's doing right now. When he's like, look, dude, you ain't gotta, because I don't speak English well, nigga, don't mean I'm an idiot. I saw what you were doing. You were beating the crap out that little old lady.
Little view of it, and you don't know the rest of the story.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I see the lady walking right here.
Yeah.
She was walking, So if you are parking over there and you see a person walking, and the next thing you see a cop throwing it to the ground when she's not using force or nothing, how is there going to be your reaction?
I'm not sure, but I would think that the police have a reason to arrest her. That's what
all the time. You see what happened not too long ago,
Is there anything I can do for you today?
Well, no, I just see that,
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your concern. She committed a crime. She ran from the Walmart. That officer caught up to her over here and she resisted arrest. And she's under arrest for criminal charges of theft.
Yeah.
And obstruction and resisting.
Yeah, because the fact, by seeing it here, she wasn't running.
It doesn't matter, sir. She committed a crime over there. She stole from the store and then ran from the store. By the time you see her, which is a very small snapshot, she's walking. That doesn't mean that she's innocent. She committed a crime over there. The businesses called us. They called 911. So if I steal your car and I just drive down the block and then about 20 minutes later somebody sees me, and do you want me to arrest that person and get your car back, or should I let them go?
It's how I'm telling you, the way that you see it from here.
Well, I appreciate that. If you want to file a complaint, sir, you can go down to the police department and file a complaint, or you can do it online. We have a website and you can feel free. But I'm saying you don't know the story here, and you interjected yourself into a situation that was law enforcement related, and you're really kind of close to the whole thing, in my opinion. So I would caution you.
See, you injected yourself into a situation that was law enforcement related. So you don't know what you're talking about. If we're beating on somebody, you don't know if that person deserves that fucking beating.
That's what he was doing.
That lady stole something. She deserved that beating. What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Like, what the hell? This lady deserved to be beat the fuck down because you say she stole something? Come on, man. He's like, nigga, you act like I'm some type of idiot.
time, if you want to videotape and make sure everything's okay, that you stay a little further back, because had this turned into a violent encounter or she had pulled a gun, you and your family would have been in the mix, okay? Because you put them there. So you may think you're defending her, but she's the one that committed the crime.
Yeah, and I see it.
And the business called us because she stole from them and ran from them. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, you know, and but that's why I'm telling you, for other people.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate
do
it.
the same thing.
No,
you know?
you don't have all the knowledge. And so you have a complete lack of trust of police because you watch the news. I understand that.
The news, because that happened to me too.
Okay, well, again, I'm going to caution you about getting this close and involving yourself in law enforcement situations. If you want to videotape and monitor it, you could have done it from much further back. You inserted yourself into the situation. They were right there fighting with her. Had she pulled a weapon, you would have been right.
Already on that car when I pull here.
You hear what I'm saying? If you do this every time we have a call
today, you know, and
okay. Well, you've said it 3 times. I got it. If you want to file a complaint on the officers, you feel free to do that. Okay.
Just letting you know,
he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. She committed a crime.
Yeah, I don't know about.
If you commit a crime, if you go and steal something and you run from me and you resist, then you'll get taken to the ground too.
I know.
That's how it works.
Last year I get arrested for no reason, you know.
Well, I'm sure there was a reason.
No, there was no reason.
Okay, I'm sure there was a reason.
Get charged for nothing and everything.
That has nothing to do with this.
No, that's what.
Has nothing to do with this. You're interfering in this. It has nothing to do with this. Okay, I encourage you to do that. Okay, yes.
He's using the fact that the dude doesn't speak English well as an opportunity to bully him verbally, like to dominate to dominate the situation, the conversation verbally, because he knows he doesn't speak English well. And so also what that does is keep the dude from making accusations on camera. If I monopolize the conversation, then you don't get to make your accusation clearly on camera. So again, these are tactics. You have to assert your rights. So in the face of the bullshit, they will do everything they can to save their ass and railroad you. Again, man, police officers don't give a flying fuck about your rights. Why would they? They not theirs. We don't have time to watch the video today, but we'll watch it next week, where somebody was talking about like the dude was mad, questioning the police officer's commitment to securing someone's rights or defending someone's rights and upholding those rights. And I'm like, that's the dumbest question ever. Of course they don't give a shit. It's a regular job like going to LA Fitness or going to McDonald's for these niggas. Why the hell you think they're gonna care about your rights because you pay them $30 an hour? Are you stupid? That's what that's the dumbest thing for you to think that. Because they took an oath to uphold your goddamn rights, you think they really supposed to give a shit about that for $30 an hour? Get the fuck out of here. You just might as well get out the game right now. If you think that shit. You have the obligation to defend your rights. Because nobody gives a shit about you but you, ultimately. And if you don't care about you, why should anybody else? If you don't give a shit about your rights enough to just know them, why should anybody else give a shit about defending them? That's the logic. If you want to be apathetic and roll around out here and not give a shit, then go right ahead. But you live in a land of laws. There was some movie that I just saw recently that said that. I can't remember it was what movie was that? Damn it. I'm gonna try to look up the law while I play the rest of this. But it was some movie where this dude, it was some brother was left something from his father, and he was breaking down how he lived. Wait, what was it? Oh no, it wasn't their father. It was on Wu-Tang. The Wu-Tang.
episodes.
Yeah, the Wu-Tang episode. When he picked up the book, he picked up the book, the music industry book. And at the beginning, it said in the passage, because it was a Caucasian voice, so obviously it's written by a Caucasian dude. He said, America is a nation of laws, which nobody knows those laws, or something like that. It was something to that effect, but nobody wants to know those laws, or some shit like that. I was like, bam. I was like, that is some crazy shit right there. Now, how many people are going to pick up on that little part? And
Yeah,
not the old other Wu-Tang.
As soon as I seen that, I thought about you. I was like, dude, my antenna went on right away. You know, like when it comes to class and stuff, it was like, all right, now I understand what that's saying. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Before it's like, oh, it's just some words. Okay, that's it. You know.
Man, now you understand. The Caucasians know. Like, you live in the land of rules and laws, nigga. Why in the hell would you not learn the damn rules? If I'm in a cage match and we can't touch the cages, I need to know that. But more importantly, what if I can't touch the cage because the cage is electrified? Don't I need to know that? Because if I accidentally touch that cage, what's gonna happen? Barbecue Kev.
That's it.
Barbecue Kev.
But Kev, like what you were just saying about interpret, you can keep stretching out the law. They keep stretching out the law to whatever they want it to be.
No, no, they don't do that. I mean, sometimes they can, the system interprets the laws in favor of the cops. But trust me, man, the more skilled, artful person wins in the law. If you are able to create, if you're able to be creative, and say and make the court see some shit that it hadn't seen before, you're probably going to win, because all you need to do is just make sure that the law you're using is correct. That's it. You need to make sure that law is right, is correct. Like, I know this law is written right here. Now, it can also apply to this. And if you can make them see it that way, then you win. And it's the people who artfully do that are the best lawyers, which is, again, Johnny Cochran. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Right off the bat. You don't win because you're a good lawyer, you win because you're able to tell a good story. So yeah, man, if you don't know the rules of the game, and that's why I like, that's the one thing I like about the Wu-Tang thing, because the older brother of RZA, he's smart. And so he went and started learning the game, which is why RZA and the brother are the richest ones out of the Wu-Tang clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Divine is basically a stringer bell.
Yep.
You know.
Divine, everybody hate Divine because Divine was about that money. Divine didn't give out more money than they needed to. Divine was like, look, if y'all ain't do the work over here, y'all ain't getting none of this money. I mean, Divine was real with it. Still is, apparently. but that little excerpt from the show, that hit right there. Y'all need to go. I think it was episode 3 of this season's the Wu-Tang American Saga. Go check that out.
But just a little side note, just like you was talking about the land, he said the same thing. Hey, we got opportunity. Why don't we buy these properties in New York? You know, same thing Jay-Z was saying, and everybody slept on it. Now, you know what I mean? He didn't sleep on it, but
no,
you know.
He didn't. No. Yeah. RZA paid. RZA's paid. Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Who suffers from dementia and sensory aphasia, was accused of stealing from a Walmart. Officer Hop was the first to respond.
All right, let's stop, ma'am.
Around 2 o'clock in the morning, Sergeant Metzler changed.
Every time.
All right, so here they're watching the video in the precinct.
The officers watched the videos and laughed about the injuries they inflicted on Miss Garner.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that it's like, though. I was pushing her.
No doubt about it. There's more than just that guy.
He says that on camera. I can't believe I threw a 73-year-old lady to the ground. Making fun about popping the arm. This lets you know how dumb police officers are. He's on camera saying this stuff. Like, he has to know there's a camera up here in the corner of the damn room. He's there every day. But he's saying this stuff on camera.
I love it.
That full video.
He said, I love it. She said, they're looking at it. She's like, I hate it. She's cringing over it. She didn't feel good when she was doing it, but you shouldn't have went along with it. But he goes, I love it.
That full video can be viewed here. Officer Hopp would eventually write his report to infer that her injuries happened in jail and not caused by himself. Finally, in May of 2021, officers Hopp and Jalali were charged and arrested. So far, Metzler has faced no charges for his involvement. And now, this. Evidence assuming his corruption. Officers cannot delete body cam videos, but they've obviously found ways to hide them, lose them, or find ways to have them disappear. Sergeant Metzler still works as a supervisor that teaches new officers and participates in these disgusting acts against the citizens they've sworn to serve, including the verbal abuse of a concerned bystander. Keep in mind that the chain of command reviewed the videos and found everything within policy. One lieutenant claimed he couldn't see the video of the arrest and still approved of it. Their actions are evil. Covering it up is corrupt. Keeping them on the job raises questions about the competency of Police Chief Ticer, which is why Miss Garner's lawyer, Sarah Shelke, has offered to donate $50,000 to a dementia charity of the chief's choice when he chooses to resign.
Full justice to Karen Garner and this community will happen at the moment that every individual who participated in this atrocity or fostered the conditions and culture that made its happening possible is held accountable. And that means a change in leadership. We all know Sergeant Metzler should not still be employed as a police officer, but he is. We all know Chief Ticer needs to resign, but he hasn't. Rather than show any true leadership by stepping down, we have instead seen continued denials, misdirection, and intransigence. I am sick of having to be the only person holding bad police work accountable in your department. I am sick of being the lead internal investigator at the LPD.
So real quick, we're gonna have to see the rest of this. So they sued, she got paid $3 million. I'm telling you, you can win, man. They just don't publicize the wins. So you don't think they win. And also when they win, a lot of times you have to sign or sometimes a non-disclosure, but a lot of times the non-admission of guilt. Police officers always stay in the clean, or that's why it always seems like they stay in the clean. When you go look up if police were punished for any violation of constitutional rights, and it seems like most of the time they win. That's not the case. It's just that you don't see the losses because they make people sign those non-admission of guilt, forms or whatever it is. So it always looks like they still win, but people are getting paid left and right by the popo. Not to mention, they expect to pay, which is why they buy police brutality bonds. because they know that some police gonna get out of hand and start smacking the shit out of people on some emotional days. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers lost and they got emotional and they start beating on somebody because their team lost last night or whatever it is, and they're gonna have to pay for that. So it's already set aside. It's money already set aside with the police brutality bonds. So you can win. You just have to make sure that you know your rights enough to be able to assert them so that you can win. And that's how you get down. Any questions before we get out of here? Before we get out the class?
Hey, Kev, I got a quick editorial.
What up?
CDC is running crazy. Everything on higher
No,
level.
hey, we on.
I can't say. I know. I'm not. It's just observation. We had college football yesterday.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of fans all over, and we got the NFL today. Hundreds of thousands of fans and nothing. So just keep an eye and follow the money. That's all.
Yep. But they all supposed to be hokied up, right? If they go to the stadium.
I guess is that what they saying now?
Or they're not, or was it hokied or is it masked? It's only masked? I thought they had to be hokied, but maybe not. So, but that shit is coming down, but people are pushing back against that stuff. So, we're about to have a real war. And it's funny, a lot of the people who are pushing back are people who actually got hokey, but they see that their rights are getting taken away by that, in the long run. So they have to fight against the mandates, which is a cool thing. Like, yeah, all right, you got hokied up. You may your leg may start twitching uncontrollably in the middle of the night when they flip that nickel G on. but at least you're out here riding for the right cause. Man, anything else, y'all, before we get out?
Hey, Kev, just want to send my condolences about your father.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Everybody been so cool about that, man.
Right.
Been crazy. I appreciate it, man.
You got it, brother.
All right, y'all, we good? Y'all get that study on, y'all. Everybody in here should have a Know Your Rights manual, all the materials and tools to do what y'all need to do and get your study on. If y'all don't know, there's a study group with Mel and James. Y'all get it, Mel and James and Randall and all the rest of the people, and see if y'all want to get in that study group. Hit them up. Mel, where can they hit you if they want to get in the study group, man?
I think hit me at IWANTCU.
Put it in.
Okay, I put it. Yeah, I put it in. I put it in on YouTube too. Once I get back over there. Let me get back over here. Yeah, I want my cut at gmail.com. I'll put that in here.
Remember, you're live on YouTube, so you blasted your email home.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. But just make sure if you want to get at it, get at Mel. If did you just put it in the chat?
Yeah, I'm putting it in on YouTube now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm putting that in there now.
And from what I can see, man, they're mashing out in the class, man. It's helping them a lot with the information. So, the faster we all get up to speed together, the more powerful you become. You can be organized when everybody's on the same page. But until then, there's no goal. You can't be on the same page, or if you can't be organized if you're not on the same page. So first things first, one step at a time. All right, y'all. I'm about to get on out of here. I'll let y'all next week.
Yep.
All right, everybody.
Peace out, family.
All right.
Enjoy.
Yo, y'all be good.
Yep.
All right.
Peace. All right, YouTube.